I mean,
I'm
I
ready.
don't know, bro.
Oh shit.
It's freestyle, bro.
Oh word. Oh yeah, we're not even doing we don't do the sound anymore. I'm just gonna jump in. I'm gonna just jump in and be like, oh my god. 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 It's what's up with the minutes. Episode 19. Episode 19. Episode 19. That's a big ass number. Oh my gosh. How do we do it? How do we do it? Ridiculous and insane. Ridiculous and insane. But this is what's up with the minutes. A hip hop podcast where every 2 weeks we take three topics and we discuss them with y'all. You know what I'm saying? We do the discussion and the conversation and the like. That's what we do out here, bro. That's what we do out here. My name is KOSEY, aka KOSEY, aka KOSEY. She, her champion, transgender queen doing the hip hop thing. And today I am joined by. Oh, I don't know which hand. I don't know. You guys, right. Go on.
I usually go first. Yeah. After that. Yeah. Peace. What up, Mega? Grand Mega Flowers, B-Boy Omega Legs, all those type of things. Tokyo based hip hop art and culture conversations, album discussions, Secret House Against.
Yeah.
You guys know me. Yeah.
Some people might not, man. This might be some people's first impression. You know, people was finding us and being like, "Oh, damn, who's this dope ass old nigga, bro?" And they need the context, man. They need the context. And who's this? What's your name?
My name is Trey, also known as TREDOES. I do the rapping thing.
So true.
I now do the podcast thing.
So true. Also, it's crazy and crazy. That's crazy and crazy. Oh, what's next, guys? What's next? What
are our topics this week?
Okay, this week we've collected 3 topics as always. And those are as follows. So, recently I listened to Wood's verse on the end of Dogeared, and he asked the question, what is the point of a poet in the times like these? And it got me thinking, what's the point of a rapper in the times like these? What does Woods think? What do we think? What do any other artists that we like think? And what is the point of doing this at all? Why do we rap? Why must we rap? Today I want to come to the bottom of that conclusion. I want to figure it out. And who's next? That's Trey, right?
Yes, before we get my topic is the white rapper, the white fan phenomenon. That's what I call it. So whenever you
I'm gonna disappear every now and then.
White fan phenomenon, where you introduce one of your melanated confidants to rap music of an abstract variety, and then they hit you with that music is for white people. Is it true? Is there such thing as that? I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and my topic was a suggested topic from, let me see if I can remember this person's name. I think it's Kushalune.
I can get it. Yeah, Kushalune 2084.
Yeah, excuse me for butchering that, but they said we'd really like to hear your opinion and discussion on art and the artist debate. That's can we separate them, and can we celebrate and enjoy art from people that are, quote, not good.
Shout out. And if you'd like to have your topic featured in a future What's Up with the Minutes episode, let us know in the comments. Hit us in the comments. Tell us what you want to talk, what you want us to talk about. And we might do it.
Absolutely no guarantee that we will do it. This was we asked, and the first person that I don't know if that person heard it on the episode and just want to respond, but yeah, so we just decided to do this one. But we would definitely will weigh heavier on doing them if you are a member of our Patreon, our esteemed Patreon. So yeah, go ahead and put some snaps on the Petro link in the bio. Do we want to shout out our patrons again this month, Trey?
We can do it for the one time.
Okay.
Our patrons this week, we got Wet Sticker, we got Uridan, we got Paul Hurdle, we got Gavin, we got Devil May Swear, we got Alex Pennington, we got Nago, Stilo, Zoom, Fick, Caden, Evan, Mega himself, Bleach, and Dan. We appreciate all our patrons. Yeah. Join the Patreon. You can get our shit a week early. You can get the uncut. Right. We talk a lot. So if you enjoy that, tap in.
Yeah, for conversations unlike anywhere else on the interwebs, especially from a lot of the talking heads in the hip hop space. We do things a little different, and I think a lot of people will notice that, and they'll notice it even more if you guys help boost the algo. Hit the like and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, because that is also going to get you fucking notified. FD notifier over here. Yeah, let's do it.
FD notifier. Wait.
Yeah. Peace. well, Beck, you guys may have felt like there was a little bit of a jump cut there, and there was. Truth be told, KOSEY is having some problems with her Wi-Fi today, so we're going to try our best to navigate that.
And first world problems.
Yeah, we'll just keep it moving.
Up.
Yeah.
It's messed up, bro.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, they don't want me out here podding, bro. I've been saying too many truths and facts and logics out to the world of that. You know what I mean? They didn't want me to keep on talking and telling the people how it is. You know what I mean? And I understand it. I get it. You know what I mean? I'd be scared of me too.
Johnson trying to come at us and shit. You know what I mean?
That nigga is no way near power, bro.
Oh, that's what they want you to think. You know
you're right. You're right.
They want you to think.
Yeah, no.
I have the documents.
Keir Starmer made a bus go.
Yeah, me and Keir ain't getting along no more, man. After all that fuck shit, I was like, you know what, Keir, man, I can't rock with you no more, bro. I can't rock with you no more. And as a result of me not rocking with him, he shut down my whole podcast, bro. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. All them reform law, that's what it is. It goes to the top.
Bro, quick aside. I was looking at like some of the UK shit because like I know y'all got an important election or something coming up, and I was looking at like the
already gone by
shit. Bro, the UK media, that shit might be worse than the United States.
Bro,
I'm not gonna lie.
it's so
Them niggas
fucked.
are shameless. Them niggas are shameless.
Them niggas, it's like the perception and like coverage of immigrant issues, quote unquote, is so like incredibly disingenuous and like so blatant as well. Like they don't be hiding behind any dog whistles and shit out here, bro. They just say it. They'll just say it.
Yeah.
It's fucked. Like the person, like the people who just won the election, not just won the election, but got like a significant amount of them. One of the people just got like immediately after that happened was like, man, we should melt down these Nigerians and make them fill up pop holes with them. What are we talking about? What's happening?
That is next level.
That shit is crazy.
Man, them just melts him down. Yo, that's crazy.
The craziest shit. It's crazy as shit. He got kicked out the party after. But it says a lot that he was in there. Man, fuck reform.
I don't know anything about. Well, like generally don't follow mainstream media, but United States is also not pulling any punches on a lot of the dog whistles either.
No, but I know.
And, you know,
USA is bad. UK. Niggas are crazy.
They are crazy.
Anyway, Ko, what do you feel like you can do as an artist to address that political climate?
Trey, what a fantastic question. No, there was no cut or anything like that. What a fantastic question. What would I do? As an artist to something? The question. Basically, today my topic is, what's the role of an artist in times like these? What's the role of a poet in times like these? Because you know, as I've informed the good folk and the people and the time and time again, I was writing a dissertation, and as a part of that dissertation, I was re-listening to a lot of Wood stuff, and the verse on Dogeared specifically stood out to me in a really serious way. The question of what is the role of an artist in times like these? What is the role of a poet in times like these? Really stuck out to me as something like kind of unlike him to ask. You know, like in a sense, like the flat out like no. Well, there is subtext to the verse, obviously, but the flat out like no subtext. What is the role of a poet in times like these? As a question to even throw out in the middle of a verse is something that really like stuck with me, and I was thinking about it a lot in the context of like how rappers operate and in comparison to how poets used to operate and stuff like that. And it got me thinking to generally how that role as an artist or poet, etc, is played out in the verse. Woods, what Woods does or says or whatever is, he doesn't necessarily come to a specific conclusion at the end. He says, I'm still grappling, but throughout the verse is like a real like beautiful serene tapestry of like individual small experiences being laid out in front of him in like such a beautiful way to me, you know. And it kind of begs the question of like, is that what he believes the role of a poet is? You know, that kind of dissection of life, or what people say often is like distillation of humanity or human emotion into word form. And I thought that was really interesting at first, obviously, because that's what I started talking about. But then I thought about it and I was like, Woods never does that. Woods writes this whole beautiful verse doing like, oh, this is the human emotion that this is the distillation of human emotion that poets should strive for or should do. But then you listen to any of his other work, and I don't think that beauty and distillation of like specific human experiences is like necessarily his approach. So it kind of got me wondering, what is his approach? What is anyone's approach? And how do you even answer a question like that when you're an artist just trying to art? You know what I'm saying? Should we even answer a question like that when you're just an artist trying to art? Yeah, that's where I'm at with it right now. Personally, the first thing I go to is like an artist's role in times like these is not to be a politician. That's the first thing I would think. Like that's not that, like, not to say they can't be, not to say they can't impact politics in any way, but the kind of immediate thing of like similar to conversations we heard in the past that I don't want to retread too much is I don't want to be like, why isn't this rapper being political? Rappers and artists and yada yada should be political, because I think that's a dead end conversation. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting, like, what should they be doing instead? You know?
Bet. For me, and I was around like when there was an optimism in underground hip hop of us being able to kind of change the world and make it like, like a better place. It was not so materialistic and shit. And I was also there, was like conscious hip hop was like, yo, if we just do this instead of, the mainstream thing, the hot boy and a no limit thing, then we could really change hearts and minds. And it was, it was much later that it was just like, yo, conscious hip hop didn't necessarily fail us, but it didn't reach the heights, and it didn't do enough of the work to create like solidarity communities. There's no hip hop unions. There's nothing like that. And but also historically, the role of a poet and the role of art within kind of, a post-industrialist world, for a long time it was controlled by the upper, the bourgeoisie, and they were the tastemakers who decided what was high art, what was not high art. And actually, to be an artist back then, you were largely going to be sponsored by somebody. But now we have, in this late stage capitalism, is that we have people who are creating art every day. And I like to be optimistic and think that people can still be, art can still be a part of the, cogs in the revolutionary machinery to wake people up and do things. But I'm also a bit cynical about how poetry can function and how it works. It's like, there's like really, I love poetry and I think poetry is great. But its role in times like this is like, what has its role ever really been? It kind of it functions. Poetry functions because it is oftentimes not typical nomenclature and language or the way that people speak. It actually suspends language and thought, and it separates, the subject, your kind of internal subjectivity, and from its how can you say, like, business as usual function, and it directs it to novel pathways of understanding and feeling things, and makes you emote and come to different realizations. And that's not just a thing about poetry, but a thing about language in general. Like a simple line can, tell you, like, it could really just make you experience something, like on some like moment of satori in Buddhism, or like that moment of enlightenment that comes and fleets. And like poetry is really dope, but the role of it in the time like this, it's not like we're using it's not like we can expect rap music to be anything more than like bumper sticker slogans in times like this, in terms of like revolutionizing things. Like we all saw the Black Lives Matter moments where like
singing,
people are shouting,
"We gonna be all right, we gonna be all right,"
shit like that. And art has always, had those type of elements to it. But the role of a poet in a time like this, I feel, is kind of just like, real life is just materially invaded by the contemplation of things, and poetry allows you to be contemplative. And if you listen to the right things, like, you can contemplate the spectacle and the reality that's around you, and sometimes you end up getting absorbed into it, and it can cause radical changes in individual perspective and shit. But the role of a poet at a time like this, nigga, you better fucking make some money.
Bitches get money.
Get some fucking money, nigga. Like, it's interesting, like what is even considered poetry and rap. There's people who are very intentional with it, like Rory says he's living like a poet life, and there's other people who come from that background. But I'm not sure I've ever heard Woods or these guys say like, yo, I'm a poet.
Yeah.
I'm a would-be assassin and a poet second. You know, like
Yeah.
I never hear that.
It's interesting, like, because like definitely like the ethics that like the ethics and role that people think that they're like the impetus behind their work and whatnot is definitely like consistently brought up in places like these. Like Elucid said, for instance, like that he makes art specifically to like ask questions. He makes art more of a gestural way for you to think in a way, and that's what you were saying with the kind of like to inquire, you know, as like a basis of what an artist like role is, to make you contemplate on some shit that you wouldn't have otherwise, or would have otherwise, and just to a different avenue and whatnot. And I do think it's interesting. Like one of the main things I feel like what I was thinking about when I like came up with this topic was like, what is the role of poetry and artists and rappers to me? Like when I listen to an artist, what am I getting out of it that I feel like this is specifically not necessarily made for, but what role and pattern and thing does this fit in my life? You know, and it's interestingly enough, like I feel like this is something very, very like I bet there's probably mad books on this that I have not read, but the idea of like all of it just kind of at a certain point, as much as I do get those inquiring moments, a lot of it is just noise. It's filling the void. It's filling the space. And an interesting part of that when it comes to like artists such as a Woods or such as an Elucid or such as a Ferrero, who I think in the context of the conversation and you was having earlier on artists who are like, oh, we're going to change the world. I feel like people who have an expectation on those people to be that, but then use that music and language and sound in just a filling the void of noise, like filling the absence of noise, filling the absence of entertainment kind of way. And I think that that's a really like telling part of it. What's the role of a poet in times like these? The answer is probably just to be like something to distract yourself with for a bit, you know? In the same way as in that Woods verse, he gets like the question is asked to him, he thinks about it for like 4 lines and then spends the next rest of the verse just talking about some other shit. The role of a poet in times like these could be just like to distract, you know what I'm saying? Trey, what do you have to add?
So when this verse came out, I was actually like really happy to hear Woods pose that question, because I think I mentioned this on the Mercy review too. This is something I was also thinking about when it came to like writing in my music, and I don't know, it felt kind of wrong at the moment to like kind of like write self-soothing music, in a moment where like this was like when ICE was killing people, all that shit was popping off. And I don't know. It felt insincere to approach the music from like a more self-absorbed perspective. So I was interested to hear what Wood's thoughts were, and I feel like in the verse he doesn't really come to a conclusion. But the more I mulled it over, I just started to feel like I don't know. I feel like to be an anthropologist of sorts, maybe not in a professional sense, but like I don't know. I think speaking to the moment, however way that manifests, I think that's the best you can hope for. I don't think you like said, I don't need to be like on no politician shit, but I don't know. I feel like there is a reality, there's an observable reality that I feel like most people can communicate to each other when just like on a base level. And I feel like when specific artists that are supposed to be our quote unquote conscious thinkers or whatnot, when they come in and they kind of subvert that, trying to just prop themselves up, I feel like you're doing a disservice. Like the J. Cole shit, not to hate on J. Cole, but he was like
No, to hate on J. Cole.
He was
to hate on J. Cole.
He was dropping the shit to roll out his music, and he was doing like the freestyles and shit. And then he brings up ICE in like a bar, like, "Ooh, I'm deporting niggas," and I'm just like, I was like, this is like a week removed from Alex Freddie getting shot and killed. So I'm like I don't need you to be a politician, but it's like you want to be the conscious nigga, then like I don't know. I expect a little more from you. From you.
Wait, can I go next? The thing you
now this nigga, man. Wait, hold on. Let me hate on J. Cole just a little bit, man. Like, I'm so tired of people being like, yo, he's like a smart rapper. He's like a conscious rapper. He's like a good, you know what I mean? Like he's not doing the fuck shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like no drugs and shit. It's like this nigga admitted that he don't read and shit. You know what I mean? Like don't look for this nigga for no information, bro. Like
I agree.
Don't even look for this nigga like on basketball takes. Like don't listen. There's very few
playing for the Monkeys, bro.
Like like
Did you hear that?
He played one game and left, bro.
He playing basketball with the monkeys, bro. That's his team name.
Yeah, they say he left. I imagine they was just like, "Yo, G, you fucking watch. What are you 40 years old? It's like, bro, you should have tried this earlier when you was disappointing Nas and shit." Like, it's like, bro, like. It's just like, yo, this is like the thing too. It's like a lot of the people who purport to have like a really strong politics and use rap to highlight and focus on things. It's like there's like lines here, right? Like all of this is just not like a flat open space of easy understanding. Like the political project that More Mother is doing is intentional and very different than somebody who is doing bumper slogan raps and rapping about things that are topical in the media right now. Mm-hmm. There is a real political and radical project that More Mother is functioning on and trying to introduce into her music. And there's also very like pointed lines of poetry in there directly attacking things, attacking institutions and perhaps even individuals is very different than some of the other shit. Like just because there's this but like, you know, we want to champion hip hop music as being like this, like it was black people are doing this, like this is a part of the black radical tradition that black people's voices need to be heard and shit. Like that shit made a lot more sense to me 25 years ago. Like now we're fully ensconced by a lot of bullshit and the spectacle is fucking reified itself in a lot of ways. And every nigga who pick up the mic is not a person whose experience needs to be touted. And a lot of these people are their art is them their lives trying to replicate art that they saw before, and it all turns into this fucking mismatch, fucking hodgepodge thing of niggas. Real nigga shit is just happens to be like some of the most foul elements of culture and antisocial narratives. Like poetry is useful and shit, but a lot of the times the shit that we perceive as poetry or the things that are championed as poetry just do not meet a criteria from a revolutionary standpoint. Like I don't give a fuck if Kendrick getting a Pulitzer, fantastic, brother, that's cool. You know, like if Gil Scott was getting something like that, or if Amiri Baraka was really, you know what I mean, getting the praise that Kendrick was getting at the time, it would be meaningful to me in a different way. But I'm glad Kendrick's able to perform at the Super Bowl and humiliate cornballs and you know, point out some of the flaws in American policy and history and shit. But yo, those politics ain't changing shit. Those politics are not about changing shit. Those politics are usually about fucking disparity politics that make it so like, oh, all niggas should be able to get money like these white niggas. Like that's the sad reality of it when it comes to a lot of these neoliberal hip hop niggas. Take a shot. Whoever's out there, take a shot. That's the first one today. I'm gonna give y'all about 7 more.
More where that comes from.
It's just like conscious hip hop failed us because KOSEY, you remember we were going back, we were listening to some of that old conscious shit, and they'd be like, "Yo, he's dropping F slurs and all types of shit." Like,
bro, I remember when I remember that Black Star album. The last track on that Black Star album has the craziest ever. I'm saying like, wait, I thought you guys were like, we're trying to like subvert the times or whatever. That shit was about
all that shit was about just like being fucking artsy and spiritual and having Afrocentricity in their music and not Pan-African politics. There's a big difference between that shit. They wanted the African accoutrements. They wanted all the, you know, the fancy shit like this. They wanted to obfuscate and mix a bunch of different ideologies together. Like, oh, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Libra, and so I gotta have a fucking feeling. And I'm talking about God. I'm not talking about God of the Bible specifically, even though I'm really much talking about a monotheistic, a Western Abrahamic religion God that I just don't want to point at specifically. Or they go to Islam and then they do all the, you know, like, it's like, yo, y'all niggas was never really there. And I don't blame you because that's just how it be. But the role of a poet at this time, my nigga, get your chickens, bro. Like, make some money, be honest with it. And if your work is really fucking useful, then people gonna snap to
yourself.
it. That's you know what I mean? It's weird. Don't be honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself is trash. Listen to real niggas and then try to be like them. You know what I mean? Go back and read
I was
theory.
referencing a Ray J interview.
Yeah, go read some real niggas and then try to be like them. Don't listen to Woods and be like, I gotta be more like Woods. Listen to what Woods says about Fanon and go read Fanon and then try to be a real nigga like Fanon. It's like, yo, we talk about I'm ranting a little bit. Let me get one more.
No, go.
Like, it's true. It's very, very true that this is a little bit weird for Woods. But you know what's not weird is him having a conversation with a woman and then writing something afterwards that makes all of us be like, damn. It's fucking hard thinking in this world. It's like I'm going on a date. I feel like a lot of the, like, not a lot, but a couple of times it was in Woods' catalog and shit. It's like he have like a situation with a woman, and then be like, damn, there really is a nigga near the furnace in the basement, right? Like, there really is a nigga in the furnace. It's like,
wait, guys, no laughing.
Chill out. You know you was laughing too much. See, that's what we're talking about. You laughing too much right there, KOSEY. KOSEY is wild giggly though. It's like, and it's fucked up to try to stop that.
Shout out that commentary. Shout out that commentary, man.
No, they try to make it right, but they was a little bit mean about it.
They were mean about it, bro.
Y'all niggas was laughing too much, and you know it. And you know it. You fucking know it. I look at Trey. I was like, Trey, did you know that shit? I was like,
you know it.
I was none the wiser, bro.
Some shit your parents would say.
Nah. It's always good to have somebody that's like really. It makes the conversation.
I love it, bro.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What was it?
Much love to you.
Yeah. I'm just joshing around. But yeah, what was it?
Joshing.
I'm just joshing.
I'm jumping in here.
Okay, go on. Go, Trey. Tell us what you want to say.
Yeah. I feel like so much of like this, like the experience of being a quote unquote rapper is like has been so individualized, to where you just look the niggas as idols at this point. And I feel like, I don't know, as long as you're gonna have a platform, at least try to give people something. At least like you're supposed to be an elevated nigga with the words. You're supposed to be a talent with the words. Give people the language to communicate what they're seeing, communicate what they're experiencing. Or like Megan said, let Woods put you on the phenom and shit like that. I feel like you can be more productive with it. Besides, self-indulgence.
I think it's interesting because that thing there kind of teeters on the line as like there's a difference between what is the role of a poet in times like these and what would it be nice for the role of a poet in times like these to be. You know what I'm saying? Like when we look at rappers and we look at the things that they put out and the way it's consumed and yada yada. Very clearly, the role of a poet is not to do what you said right there, which is to educate and give people the language to be themselves and to figure out, not be themselves, but to be a useful like part of the revolutionary vanguard or whatever, to grow in their knowledge and whatever.
Fucking help build community.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean that like it's clear from the way that art is consumed that isn't what's happening. The role of a poet in times like these, it ideally would be to do that community creation. You know, there's beautiful communities around specific artists and stuff like that have grown out. We all of us met through our like enjoyment of art. Like the role of an artist is in some places creating a community of like people like us and people in the RMPP and like far beyond that in bigger and just bigger communities. I was gonna say better, but that's not true. That's not true. And it's like, but when you look at the actual like the role of a poet outside of the like idealized thing of it, it is that kind of individualized perspective and who you can portray yourself to be to the folk. And the thing you said in the previous thing on like what was it? You said like oh my gosh, no, it was like the kind of distillation of the human experience thing that you kind of touched on, but you didn't say those words. You said something else. I'm trying to remember it, but it's gone. And that kind of thing there of like being a poet who's of the times, who's who's of the times and saying things of the times. That being the role that a poet could fulfill as like someone who's observing the world around them and telling it not in the way of like a historian, but of giving their experience of the world and giving all of that, like the use and place that will have in the world, as like maybe someone like an anthropologist comes and wants to be interested in what your art is and what your art says about the world and what your place in the world is. Like an artist's role in times like these or times like anything is that historian, you know, is that someone looks back on it and can have an understanding of where was culture at this point. You know, there's so many things that denote there's so many things. Oh, give me a second. There's so many like things about oh my gosh, that notification threw me so hard. Uridon, stop messaging me. Go away. Stop messaging me. How dare you? What was I saying? Oh, it's gone.
It's all right.
That's so fucked. That's so fucked up.
What is the role? What is the role of a podcaster in times like this. Like, how do we square that?
We're part of that
circle,
noise, bro.
you
We're
know?
part of that noise. That's what I'm saying.
To
Like,
make
you know,
money.
Not me.
I feel like we have like a really interesting thing, like what we're doing right now as podcasters who are trying to like come towards some actual like interesting discussion and stuff, is kind of doing what Trey was saying. No, you were saying, not what Trey was saying. Trey would never say anything like this. That guy's a dumbass, bro. I hate that guy. What Mega was saying about like these type of things making you like ask yourself questions and like think of the world around you and like think in different ways. Because I think that's kind of what we're trying to do, or at least that's what I think we're trying to do, is to create conversations and whatnot. But then we also have so many goofs and gaffs in here. I can't say that that's solely what we're doing.
I only do this to talk to the
optimistic. I think the optimistic element is also important as well, though, because like I feel like in any like situation where like you can observe like terrible conditions, like for example like Palestine and shit, they still like do shit to like uplift themselves. So I also think that also has to be factored in, but also like to the point where like I think you could do this. It's not as much of like, oh, I can't believe Future, you're not talking about anything important, you're get to it. It's more like from at least from our purview, or like people that we prop up, I think we are able to set a higher standard in those terms. That's what I think, at least. And also just to like observe the times to that point. Like for example, To Pimp a Butterfly like perfectly encapsulates the fucking how underdeveloped black political thought was at that time, or not underdeveloped, but like the mainstream approach to that. And it also distilled like that Black Lives Matters movement, and how like a lot of people didn't have like the proper language to approach that at the time, and see the pitfalls of the kind of more idealistic element to that as well. So like I think it's valuable in that regard.
There was plenty of songs on there that I thought that spoke to things that I hadn't really heard people discuss before, things that I even had experienced, like what
institutionalized. I feel like that's probably
institutionalized is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, like Cass is just there with that shit, and it's like it's really good and useful. And Kendrick is great. I believe that Kendrick is one of our greatest artists of the last 20 years or whatever. And I'm a big fan of it. And I also do understand the cultural kind of power behind a bunch of black people chanting "We gonna be all right" and shit. You know what I mean? Like that shit is dope, and it's useful to certain degrees. So yeah, I don't want to undercut the work and shit like that, and what people are doing, but it is oftentimes just harrowing to see how art does not necessarily affect the world as much as we would like it to. And we see that in artists that we listen to, like you come across like some of the things, like even when they're good, it's fucking weird. Like I saw maybe it was like a copy pasta type of post, but there was this one guy, it was a white dude, and they make it clear in their post that they're a white person. They were like, I've been listening to Kendrick Lamar, and now every time I see a group of black people, I look at them and I think, wow, that's who Kendrick's talking about. Like that's their experience. Has anybody
I've seen that post. Has
anybody felt it? But the issue is like it's such a weird nebulous thing that there are undoubtedly, it's symptomatic of other elements in the kind of I don't know, the fetishization of black art in mainstream spaces that can be conducive to creating better people and like kinder fucking liberals and shit, you know what I mean, like that. But it also obscures some of things, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna complain about everything. All I really want to say is just like, this nigga J. Cole is so corny, bro. Like I just fucking like I fucking like, yo, like if anybody if somebody came up to me and was like, yo, who's your favorite poet, and I named mine, and then they're just like, yo, I really like J. Cole, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could sort of like allow that person to continue. I really want to be
someone
kind.
Considering J. Cole to be a poet is murdering me. Someone comes up to you and says, yo, who are your favorite poets? And then they reply saying, yeah, J. Cole's mine. They came up to you with this proposition. And
But that's like a Get Out type of situation. You're around a bunch of people and they're just like trying to identify and like get with you on your blackness.
Yeah, what type of nigga are you, bro? You love J. Cole, right?
It's basically the same shit as like nowadays it'd be like, yo, actually Kendrick Lamar, I really think that he got the best of that Drake in that one battle. It's like I would have voted for Obama 3 times. It's that type of, kind of weird. And that's also one of the weird things about blackness too, is like we are trying to navigate such a weird fucking space. And we also want to have like these cultural bonds that tie us all together, but we all different types of weird niggas and we all different types of weird people, and we're confronted by all types of other different types of weird people and shit. And it's like really hard to like just like stand on your square and have the correct kind of fucking view on all of these things, because it gets so fucking weird and it gets so strange.
Yeah, and that's kind of a thing that I think is interesting within the like what is the role of a poet in times like these, is like anyone doing anything. I don't feel like that question would be asked of like what's the role of like a teacher in times like these. All of these things have like specific goals in mind, and art kind of go on. No, let me say.
Yeah, buzz it, finish it up.
I think you got like teachers, people who build shit, you got yada yada yada, and all of those things can have their role summed up to like a very specific thing that they do. You know what I'm saying? And an artist, and that kind of leads me to like an artist's role is more of like it's just what the art does, rather than something that you can like be like specifically, oh, an artist's role is this is what they contribute. It's more so how the art is felt and received, that is their role, rather than something that they could directly could directly claim to be what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do is irrelevant. What they have done is the more like relevant and impactful thing. If someone says that their role as an artist is to change the world, and then you look at their community and it's like, okay, this is like 100 people who think your music's dope, and maybe they might have like got more into politics off of it. Your role isn't changing the world. It's like, your role is building this small little community that's going to be like useful eventually, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Your role as an artist, if you're making the art and people are listening to your shit and just dancing around, your role as an artist is to create some entertainment for a sec. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing that folk can have that and can feel that and be inside of and get like change like that. The role of an artist as something that is just filling the void is still like you can't put a number on how much value that gives to someone to have that distraction for a bit. As much as that distraction might sound like on face value to be, oh, it's a distraction, it's taking you away from something. Distraction is a very necessary for the human psyche to even exist, to do anything at all.
Right.
So a poet having the role of nothing is still an indispensable like resource. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a big. I don't even know what you said just now, Trey. You confused me.
Sometimes Trey will hear bars and be whoa.
Oh, okay, so whoa.
Basically, he's like, wow, they're bombing here.
When Wood said galoshes on, Trey was like, yo, no.
This was such a good question to pose, and it was such a good question that I actually took it to a friend of mine. I was like, check out this Dogeared verse, let me know what you think. And they're like, man, what is this white people music? And I was like, man, I was really looking forward to having an intellectual conversation with you, but alas, he couldn't get past Lucid using dog metaphors to describe himself. What kind of freaky shit is that?
It's kind of freaky, to be fair. Like,
have you black listeners of the What's Up with the Menace podcast, have you ever been
listeners, blackeners?
Have you
listeners, bro?
Have you listeners been like, oh man, this artist is really dope, whoever it is? What's a good example? Open Mike Eagle, who
Too
else?
white.
Quelle Chris.
Too white.
I mean, we already said Billy Woods. Like,
Too white.
This artist is really dope. I would like to introduce this to my peers.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, this is really dope. They're talking about really important shit. Like the cultural analysis is on point. And for some reason, they hit you with that's white people music, bro. That's white people music. And you are stumped. You are stumped because I mean it is left to center. It is left to center. You're not wrong. I can't say that I know a lot of black people in my immediate life that are on this specifically. But also, like this nigga,
You ain't
I've
got no
never heard
cousins,
anyone.
bro.
My
You
cousins don't
like,
listen to this shit, bro.
man,
Nigga,
that's what I'm saying.
no. Yeah,
No, that's a
yeah.
no. I told Trey this already. I really like this topic. I really like this topic. You just see it all the time. You see it all the time. You see as soon as niggas get a
Or even with the
smidge
JPEG Mafia
experimental.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Where
As
they were
soon as
like,
niggas get
they're like Earl fans. Earl fans, ironically enough, were like, man, nobody listens to JPEG Mafia. That's white people music. But then the niggas at one point were like, nobody listens to Earl. That's white people
That's white
music.
people music. Nigga, that was old Future. That was white people music, bro. That was that was such as white people music. Don't test me. But like, that's what I'm saying. Is like the idea of quote unquote white people music is like so interesting because it's like as soon as a black artist is doing anything other than that real nigga shit that you guys mentioned before, that's what they get. That's the label that falls upon them. That's the label the Twitter gods dubbed them with, you know? So it's like as soon as a nigga want to be a little bit experimental, say a little bit of their feelings, we like not we as in us, the culture at large, or at least very loud subsets of the culture, wanna like put it in a new box of defining it by its audience, you know, as if and it's interesting because like in a lot of cases the audience is white, you know. You go to a Billy Wood show, mad white folk there.
In most cases,
Yeah.
the audience is white.
Yeah, and that's there's a lot of things there. There's a
Kendrick
lot of things
Lamar as an artist, there's even with him, there's more white people listening to Kendrick than there are black people.
Yeah, and it's like the interesting part of that is you have that, and it's like you can't your argument can't be no, it's not. White people don't listen to this because that's false. That's false. In every single case, that's false. In every single case, that's false. In every single case, that's false. But the argument also can't. So the argument as a result has to be like your understanding of blackness and whiteness and whatnot is so flawed for you to like
it is
require boxing these things in as even negatives, you know. Something being white people music is like, okay, well, white people exist, you know, like they can listen to shit. but even to
I love white people.
No, you don't.
You heard it here first.
This nigga didn't look at a single white woman during Black History Month. Every time one came around, he just averted his attention and shit. He walking around like fucking Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder when white women was around and shit. Like, I will never do this to my black queen.
Let's call it like it is. The statement in question is wildly anti-intellectual.
Yeah.
But let's like go ahead, Trey.
Dissect it. Yeah. No, you go ahead.
Dissect
it. Break it down,
for a large contingent of, I don't know how they do it in the UK, but I imagine with United States being such the cultural fucking machine that it is, it's exporting shit, low-key. It's exporting blackness over there in the same way, right? But like in the United States, the ground and guarantee of authenticity in black culture is two things. It's being a poor black person, and it's being a black person that seems authentic. We've had this type of situation so many times. Like, you look at Key and Peele, black people and shit, right? But I'm not gonna lie, my temperament and how I grew up, when I see them, I'll be like, they're black, and that's fine. Like, they my brothers, you know what I mean? Like this and that. But there's a little bit of like yo, like do y'all have black friends type of joint? You know what I mean? Like, did y'all like? I didn't grow up with a black mother. My experience is different. You know, my mom didn't know how to do my sister's hair. You know what I mean? I didn't grow up smelling fucking
cocoa kisses.
Like, we had cocoa butter, of course, and shit, but like I didn't wake up smelling like a fucking a hot comb on the stove and shit like that with my mom doing that. It wasn't until my sister got older in her blackness, 15, 16 years old, that she started doing more of those things, and I was more involved with that. My mom is a Filipino woman and shit from the Philippines, so when she got here, like she barely speak English well and shit. But like, I grew up around a lot of niggas. I grew up around a lot of white folks. I grew up around a lot of real niggas too. And like, there is this radar that a lot of us think we have, but over time, the radar that we think that we have is been fucking obscured. in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah.
obscured in a lot of ways. We think that the streets is a ground and guarantee of blackness. Meanwhile, all the black shit that you are subject to in the movies and the cinema and the music industry and shit, a lot of that shit ain't really coming from the streets. A lot of that shit is like, you look at Chance the Rapper's album just turned like 10 years old and shit, right? This nigga's friends, his family's friends with the Obamas. All the movies that you see about, like, you know, what's happening and shit. All the movies you see about black people being harassed by the police, these come largely from middle class black folks who didn't have the same experience as the gangster rappers and shit. And we've also turned gangster rap into the ideal fucking way to act in the world.
Platonic ideal of blackness.
And it's like, yo, like, some of that shit is just way out of fucking scale and just kind of like gross. And that's white people shit too, because we got suburban black folks who are fucking trying their best to be authentic gangsters that don't have to be. I seen this shit in my own family, cuz like, my nephew Isaiah did not have to be gangbanging, bro. My nephew Rock was really gangbanging. Was crazy. Like, he didn't have to be gangbanging, and he, by him wanting to be like that, he is like that. My nephew Isaiah will fucking, like, he'll beat you up at church, bro. Like, he's a real nigga like that. And shit is reified in a weird way, but black people, anytime some shit seems a little bit outside of the confines of this little limited spectrum that they have, we get fucking, we don't know how to act. You said big words, I'm gonna take it as disrespect.
So now, you said that,
you know what I mean?
I'm gonna pause you, bro.
I'm gonna have to take it as disrespect. And it's weird, we do that with every single aspect of the culture too. It's like, oh, like, why he dressed like that? Like, even old heads be like, yo, why the Migos dress like that? Like, even like, we find any particular that seems different from our idealized view of what blackness is, and anything outside of that is crazy. Anything outside of that is gay or weak or fucking racist or you know what I mean, kowtowing and fucking Uncle Tommen for shit. Like, we like, the biggest takeaway about this shit is that, like, for show, underground rap music, the white fan base shit is super duper real, and I think that that's something that we really have to, like, take into account. But another thing is just like, the bigger thing is just like, a lot of niggas have just bad taste in art in general. That's why all these Tubi movies and shit that we see on television and all the hood classics, a lot of that shit is just really bad Tubi, art, bro. No, I watched Tubi more than both y'all niggas put together, guaranteed.
I've never seen a Tubi in my life. Low-key,
no, I watched black trash fucking movies, gangster movies all the time.
My only experience with Tubi is every podcast has a bit about Tubi for some reason. Hella podcasts I listen to be like making fun of Tubi. I don't know nothing about that shit. Bro, I don't know nothing about Tubi, bro.
Tubi is the black epicenter for fucking black filmmakers. I go to Atlanta tomorrow and meet Trey, and we'll shoot a video on my little Samsung phone and shit. And Tubi will be like, "Yo, this is under black culture. We're gonna put this one under action." Yeah, this is action. This is comedy. Yo, they got some amazing film.
The thing about Tubi is that the barrier to entry is low, so it has a lot of, like, poor quality stuff, but also for that same reason, a lot of, like, people who, like, a lot of black people who genuinely, like, have an interest in film and shit, like, they go through that avenue.
Fair enough. Okay,
black people love to tell their stories, and we love to tell our stories and feel like our stories is the most important and shit. Like, that's why everything, like, that's why there's a narrator in every black film. Every black film got a narrator because they want to let you know more than what the scene is showing you. In a black movie, it's always gonna be like, yeah, so I grew up in this place and it was really rough. I had two homies, and then last week the other homie died, and then they're gonna have narration later, because it's never just like seeing a nigga just do something. They always got to narrate it because they got to tell you that it's deeper than you think, my nigga.
See,
like, it's
I
really
need to start watching worse movies, bro. That's what I don't know this.
You gotta go to the black classics first, though.
The American culture is simply black culture, and black culture has, like, been like we've mentioned, has been marked as, like, authentic inherently, and, like, that is packaged and sold to white people. But the thing is, in the process of it being sold to white people, black people also believe into the shit that they are selling to white people. So like they sell these stereotypes, these certain expressions, and then white people consume it via rap music and shit. But like we're also like getting like fucking BET, like, oh, this is for black people. So what you're feeding is like, this is authentic, this is real, this is productive because we have segmented this off. This is for us as black people. And then the whole time Tyler Perry in there being wildly fucking anti-black and shit. But like, nah, this part of being black. So like, you know, this is real. I buy into this. And then you start to make these associations where I'm sure plenty of people can relate to like you fucking using specific language while talking to your people and then being like, oh, you talking like a white person.
Yeah,
Like,
I got all the time.
Half
when I was
the time
young,
it's just having a decent vocabulary. And like, why you don't have to ascribe that to that. Same way where like you can ascribe Earl as white music, and he does have a white fan base, but also like Earl like speaks to the black experience, speaks to a bunch of like black thinkers, and there is like serious number of black people that like resonate with that, and there's like a large black following of Earl. So to write that off completely is ignorant.
Yeah, it's obscene. It's obscene that like, but it's just like some people are just not equipped to listen to certain things, and a lot of people whose black experience doesn't necessarily sit as like a historic thing. So like, if you're a black, if you are a black artist like a Woods who is talking about experiences of blackness in a certain way, and it's like we were talking about there in the Elusive shit. Like Elusive's music to me is like super black American. Like there's a lot of shit that like as a black person I pick up on. It's like somebody else might be like, well, what does this mean? And so anyways, my name is Professor Sky. Here's my analysis. Motherfuckers might do that type of shit, right? But like for us, it's like a lot of it is mad simple. Thing is like a lot of black folks is just like unwilling and uninterested in being in being like there's an anti-intellectual lens that comes with some things. I don't want to say it's like we're impoverished as a culture, because I also think that's a weird narrative too. But like, a lot of times what we think of as blackness is just a collection of data points that are focused for marketing in a lot of ways. And what happens when black folks are really into this gangster rap shit and they ain't never been a part, like especially nowadays, because we mad alienated and separated from culture. We listen to black music as a black 16-year-old with no black friends, maybe, or you know, a couple black friends. And we feel like, oh, we're really touching black culture because we all listen to the same album. It's like, yo, brother, like that's you, like that's a fandom. Like if it was anything else, you'd be a LARPer. Like you put on fucking armor and go to Renaissance.
OG definition of LARPer.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, live action role play, nigga. Like, you really
that,
outside.
That word's changed a little.
They changed.
What is it? Like, all right. Y'all got me with gooning too. I don't know what it means.
No, it's not as bad as gooning.
No, it's not as bad. They just use it as like shorthand for a poser.
Well, I mean, that's all. Like, okay, what I meant was like you really are trying to authentically live this type of lifestyle, but like a lot of the things that you feel are authentic are just marketed to you. Like when I've dealt with this, like the almost. Remember I told y'all the homies like, well, I listen to underground shit, make my dick hurt. And I was like, bro, like what does that even have to do with anything? Like the nigga like, oh, what are you talking about? Like he's talking about being black in New York. It's called Cannibal Ox. Like listen to it. He's like, oh, my dick hurts. I'm like, what were you doing to the CD, bro? Like something's wrong here.
Bro,
like I've really dealt with that a lot.
Off the dick.
And
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, got straight off the dick, right? Actually, that was really good, Trey. I love you. that was actually really good. All right, that was the What's Up with the Minutes podcast. We're done for the week. And that was really good.
We got one joke. We got one joke. We did it. That's it.
That's good. But you know the craziest thing about it though is like. It's like a lot of times like Cash is just not really interested in art shit, and it's not just like you try to put somebody on to like yo, you should watch Citizen Kane, like you should watch this movie, watch that movie, and it's like yo, this shit is kind of whack. It's like motherfuckers, the same motherfuckers come to you and be like, yo, that Suicide shit, I kind of like how the Joker had a gold grill. I was like, you like how this nigga Joker had damage tattoo on his head and shit? Like nigga, you got bad taste. Most of the problem also is not just like cultural things. It's like niggas have bad taste because they've been eating out the garbage can of ideology their entire life, and they ain't never smelt real fresh roses. These niggas have never fucking really smelt dead cars. You know what I mean? They don't know what dead cars is. They don't know what
I
it
don't
really
know what dead cars
means.
is. What about?
Tabula rasa, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
like
you meant you were doing a metaphor. I see you.
I was doing hip hop.
My bad. You said
They never been on a giraffe hunt.
You feel me? Yeah. They never
Trey,
did that.
Trey, you had your hand up. What's up?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with Mega. Like, a lot of it is just niggas having bad taste. But like, one of my most frustrating things about this is niggas will cover up their bad taste or just like unwillingness to engage intellectually with, oh, this isn't black, this is white, so I don't have to engage with it. I can just write it off because I can just be like, this is white people shit, and then you just write it off completely.
That's one of the best get out of jail free cards. Niggas do that all the time. You get caught stealing, that was racist. It's like, nah, nigga, you got caught stealing and shit. Like, like sometimes they racist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you right. That's systemic. That's a systemic problem with society. It was looking at you different because you black, and that's true too. But at the same time, it's like, yo, don't try to make it like every single transgression is like a certain thing, bro. Like, you really got to be a little bit more critical and a little bit more thoughtful on your shit, because it like Cassius. I think I'm just real tired about how adolescent a lot of blackness seems in media for me, and that's a very childish position to have.
No, I get it. Wait,
listen to something and be like, ugh, like, I can't imagine the guys on the stoop that I don't live by, that I've never experienced, but I can't imagine guys on the stoop in New York listening to this. So it doesn't seem black enough to me. Like,
yeah, that's actually a really interesting point you made there, like kind of on the adolescence thing. Like, I think so much of like mainstream black culture is like, I mean, obviously, like, I think mainstream culture is this generally, but like deeply young, like deeply infantilizing, and like making you as a like to be 20 forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never grow up and you never become more. You never seek something higher. You know, we got like one the most popular black rapper like right now, Drake. He's like 40 years old, still talking about the same shit he was talking about at 20. And if now he's even more into the gangster shit. Yeah, he's even more into the gangster shit now. So as a result, the kind of perpetual loop that blackness as an idea and as a cultural thing you put forward, the thing that makes you not white, is staying a child, is staying mentally neutered and not able to like actually grow and become anything more, staying a 20-year-old who doesn't know anything. Like the white part of Billy Woods is that he knows shit. The white part of Sweatshirt, other than the fact that, you know, when he first started, he was being edgy as fuck and saying nigger and faggot and whatnot. Other than that, the white part of Sweatshirt right now is that nigga knows shit and he has fun. You know, like that's what I'm saying. Like that's
there is like a vicarious thrill from whiteness to be like, I support and love black people, but I only like listening to smart black rap. And that's like the same deterministic side of the coin that is also the opposite, that says like, this is smart black shit, so I don't fuck with it because they are obviously catering to a white audience. You know, like this is the same biodeterministic coin, and both of them are rooted in the idea of essentializing race in a very strange way that is like functionally situated in this weird neoliberal postmodern ideology of how to critique skill. And it extends into everything that we kind of do, and that's what I'm going to get into when I start talking about separating the art from the artist as well. It's like a lot of these things are like, we like to kind of parse them out and make it seem like the perspectives are separate and varied, but they come from very specific hegemonic ideologies that cause us to function and interact with the world in these specific ways, like alienation and things that we can describe. And like it's like that's why you feel fucked up about it. It's like, you know, like black people think that the grand and guaranteed of like we've gone through this economic project, this neoliberal project of black upward mobility and bootstraps and meritocracy and all of these things, and those are not things that are just imaginary or happen randomly. Those are undoubtedly a part of the fucking superstructure that causes us to go in this fucking base and superstructure cycle where people just don't realize that they're participating in. Like, Like Cole, I had you watch. I asked you to watch I Heart Huckabees, and that's a great
Oh,
movie
it did
about
not happen.
philosophy. But
You said you were
it's a
going to
great
send.
movie.
Oh wait, no, you sent
I
something
sent you
to
the
say.
email, right?
I didn't get the email. Is what I'm going to say.
All right. Oh, okay. I thought I did. I swear I okay. But anyways, point taken is like they're talking about philosophy in that, and they're getting really deep within. And it's great about that. But one thing that they don't talk about that is ecology, political economy, and that is the thing that most people are. The obfuscation starts there. They don't understand that they're living and functioning in this world that is specifically designed for a lot of these outcomes and creates these outcomes. And it doesn't need a man twisting his mustache in the back to create that. It reifies itself. And Black culture has done this to themselves, just like every other culture has done this to themselves, while still being ravenously exploited and taken advantage of and making it seem like the problem is elsewhere. It's nasty work. These niggas is good. And that's why we need poets. So they could be like,
I think
Refanon.
I think
That's all they say.
our topics today can all be encompassed around one person. Someone who made music to change the world. Someone who made Black people music and then literally became white and made white people music. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
He didn't become white, nigga. He became Asian. You are racist. He became some type of Asian ghoul. No, he became a Chinese ghoul. Like, I'm sure that it's somewhere in their culture.
In the light of the recent Michael Jackson biopic that leaves off at a very interesting point in time, we have one of the greatest artists of all time, someone I grew up on. Nigga, I was in there watching the fucking the Michael Jackson greatest hits like VHS tape, and like had every single MJ music video. Me and my brother.
Trey, did you have the fit?
We reenact the whole shit.
Trey, did you have the fit though?
He ain't a real Michael fan.
We had the Wii U game. We had the Wii U game.
Yes,
and we
Michael Jackson experience.
We'd be in there battling, and then one day I grew up. And I was like, man, how do I reconcile my love for Michael Jackson's amazing music with the fact that he allegedly touched kids? What can I do? How do I separate the art from the artist? What am I meant to do here? I don't know. But I think Mega has the answers for us.
Well, I got the answers, my nigga.
You ain't got the answers, Trey.
I'm a Michael Jackson truther. He was going to buy NBC, him and Bill Cosby. Yeah, no, like, I'm so sure. I like one of the things I didn't want to do is kind of like this conversation is wide and varied, and there's a lot of elements of it. Bro. There's you know, there's specific cases. There's like a spectrum of crime and things that people do, and there's also like us dealing with industry and accepting certain things that they do and not judging them the same way. But I'd like to kind of like parse this conversation down so it doesn't devolve into conversations about the particulars of any like certain like deplorable actions. I don't want to really drive it down to it's like this person did a murder and like we have to judge the art from the artist versus this person did a fucking like said a bad word, even that, like I'm not like I'd like to kind of separate the idea from the crime and stick it down to the like I don't want to do a cancel culture conversation about this. I'd like to talk about how we navigate the idea of interacting with art and knowing things about the artists that make us feel uncomfortable, like very simply to put it there. And I think that that's largely what a lot of people are trying to do when they have this conversation, is that they're taking a certain kind of moral imperative that they have about what it means to be a good person and what it means to be worthy of their attention, and also like how are they compromising themselves by buying music or streaming music or talking to other people about these artists who promoting music, talking to people about these artists who have done things that they feel are from anywhere from like not cool to like absolutely morally reprehensible.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and I know that this is like this is like a hot top. Well, maybe it's not so much anymore, but this is a conversation that I continuously see emerging in any of the places where I discuss art. And it's a variety of different ways. It's a variety of different, like, isms that we are discussing on this. Like in Secret House, we had a person in there that every time you talked about an artist of the old days, whether it was like a James Brown or a Kurt Cobain, this person consistently chimed in, even though the conversation would be about like a song or the meaning or the beat on it. This person continuously chimed in being like, yeah, but Kurt Cobain was a bad person, but this person was a bad person, that a person is a bad person, despite the conversation not being about that virtually at all, or even that being a popular narrative while that person's music was, popular. Those type of things seep into our discussions about art. And with that said, like I probably got a lot to say about this. I know I took some notes, but I'd like to see kind of where it goes and where you guys sit on that. This is also like a thing that you and Q got into a bit
a little
during our New Year's joint, but that was also, again, that's also about a
very specific individual. Yeah.
And I'm trying to like avoid that so we don't devolve into me talking to Trey about FBI files on Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, to keep it more like, how do we really, like, what is the purpose and how do we navigate separating the art from the artists in our personal ideological mechanisms? Because I have a way.
Trey, do you want to go first?
Well, first I'll start like this. I do not think art exists in a vacuum. I also do not think the act of listening to music alone is a moral action. And I say that to say, to make the point where you brought up the person in Secret House, I'm sure they're probably being like more cancel culture-y about it. But
they were fucking hyper liberal fucking anarchists who I'm glad is gone, to be honest with you. Leo, don't ever come back. You're not welcome back. I'm
wow.
absolutely serious. No, it's like I get so irritated with liberals. I get so irritated with anarchists. I'm just sick and tired of it. Don't ever come back. I don't ever want to see you.
Keep going, G. Keep going.
We don't want to see you say nigga no more. Like, we don't want to hear you say nigga no more.
I like to engage with it from a perspective of historical accuracy at the very least. So just not to indict Michael Jackson specifically, but to use that as an example, I think to not engage with that part of him ignores how his upcoming as an artist and his the abuse he went through as a kid himself. And I think doing that, you're doing a disservice. You're being ahistorical, and you're doing a disservice to the art itself. And I do think, to some extent, we all practice some level of cognitive dissonance, depending on what level of gangster rap you may listen to or anything like that. But I usually distill it to a few things: material support, and maybe it's just. Probably just material support. Probably just that. So like there are people where I'm like I like their music, but I'm not gonna give you money because like I don't think you deserve my money. There are people I listen to where I'm like, I like your music, but I'm not gonna post about you and like fucking boost your album because like I just don't think that's a responsible use of whatever little platform I may have or anything like that.
Your buying power, your ability to contribute to their
and I don't think it takes much to be mindful in that way, but also I think the more cancel culture element of it, where it has to be like this fucking extensive back and forth where like, oh, you listen to this person and they by proximity did this, so this is the endorsement of this. And I think so far as certain things aren't explicitly in the music, I can kind of parse that. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best way to like start it is like, how do we practice art versus the artist? Is like, for me, I personally I don't put a ridiculous amount of stock into it. I definitely like, if I'm aware of something, I'd rather know than not. You know, I'm not sitting around being like, oh, I'm completely don't tell me anything, because I think that's one of the things that, like Trey said, that immediately kind of picks up for me, is the idea of like separating the art from the artist is solely to ignore the bad things. But then the idea of art to the artist is never like, yeah, if he does anything good, I'm not going to say anything about it. It's not going to impact my enjoyment of it. Da, 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 da. I don't think that that's like a common thing. I think in a lot of the artists and stuff, the thing that they would like to get back to the ethos thing, the thing that they would like to do with their art is, to a lot of people, quite important to their enjoyment of it. The thing that they are doing in the art itself is, to a lot of people, important to what they're doing to it. And if you have that cognitive dissonance of, say like say someone who's very like racial, like who talks about a lot of racial politics in their stuff, if you find out that the entire time they've been saying this shit, they believe the opposite and have been peddling the opposite and been putting money into the opposite, you're gonna have to look at it a little differently. It's gonna change the context in which you enjoy the art. The art that we have, it doesn't exist in a vacuum, as Trey said, because all of the history around this art that made and created the art is inherently inside of the art. You know, the context that created and made it, it is there. It's there and within the art itself. So definitely, like, things outside of the art can definitely seep in a way that I think people oftentimes are trying to ignore, rather than are like practical. Honestly. Yeah, because it's like, when I think about, like, for instance, all of this art, like the mass amount of music that's like heavily misogynistic, is like, and then you find out the artist did something horribly misogynistic. It's like, yeah, I'm not I can no longer enjoy the fantasy of doing these, or of being an awful person towards women, because those person's done awful things towards women. You know what I'm saying? No, like, listen,
right,
like,
right.
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
Yo,
like,
I like when the killing was just a figment of my imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Niggas,
they started
when
killing.
when Tory Lanez, I know we're not talking about specifics, but when Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion, niggas were like, how could he? Like, you niggas were hearing what he was saying, right? like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff there is so ridiculous. Like, the all of the artist's life outside of the artist is in the art. So there's no way that, like, in so many cases at least, and it's impossible for me at least to completely separate the two. But I also don't go around being like, this person did a bad thing, you should stop listening to their art. You know, there's a fluidity to it. You know.
I do kind of like the point that you made about some people coming into it as bad faith. So they talk about separating the art for the artist, so they can feel okay with listening to an artist who has done or been proven to have some type of tremendous, like, transgression. You know, like you know, it's like, oh, like Woody Allen, even though we know that Woody Allen, like, married his stepdaughter, is like, the art is still good. And, like, you know, I got to separate the art from the artist. And but I actually I don't agree with you in a few ways. I do agree with the idea that art doesn't exist in a vacuum, but I also believe that all art is separated from the artist once it's placed in a social space, because we interact with that and we develop meanings that are not necessarily concurrent with what the art means. We find ways to describe the art and how it functions in a variety of ways of critique. And in literary critique, we have historicism, new historicism, eminent critique, transcendental critique, and other forms of critique. And these approaches are not alien or beyond, you know, truthfulness or meaning in their relationship. Now, one of the things that I also feel is like an important part of how I make these critiques is that you guys know, I am a Marxist, and I try my best to adhere to that approach. And that means separation from certain ideological positions from me. And there's something that I think Marxism offers that no other political tradition really does, especially anarchists like Leo. It's a devastating critique.
You hate this nigga, bro.
Well, I just got to shit on him because we're on the topic. You know, fuck this nigga J. Cole too. But, you know, like in Marxism, we have a critique of contemporary society that is fundamentally not reliant on any kind of moral denunciation. It is a truly ruthless critique of everything in existence, and that is a huge advantage in my mind. But also, it also creates it makes it somewhat difficult to kind of translate this approach to a culture of Western progressivism. And I encountered that in a lot of conversations. I think, KOSEY, you and I, one of the first kind of bumps in our kind of relationship was me being a little bit hard on the nose about how dismissive I was about the qualities in the Kendrick Lamar track, where his like happy that is like, we're happy that his aunt is like, like he's not homophobic anymore or something.
Yeah.
Like, I forget what it was, but
I found, like, just not to like get very specific on it. I just found your analysis of it, because I didn't know you at the time. Just the language you use is just annoying. I found it really annoying. So I was like, why are you, the way you're approaching this it feels disingenuous, and I feel like you're making fun of me. So because I didn't know you at the time, innit? Continue.
But yeah, because I did call it the I think I called it the gay auntie song.
Yeah, and that's just like,
I'm not going to engage. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Like, but also like like
real quick.
Go on.
Did y'all know Donald Trump has an artist profile on Spotify? This nigga has 30,000 monthly listeners.
Trey, bro, too many giggles, bro. Too much laughing, bro.
No.
Checking the conversation.
What is
wait, but
he's on Method Man's album. Is that on there?
I don't know. I just closed out of it. But can we separate Donald Trump? Can we separate Donald Trump from his music on Spotify? Important question. That's
so stupid. That's so dumb. You interrupted Mega's whole point.
I was shocked.
How did you find this? What's the sequence of events?
I was trying to see the Spotify shit where it shows how many things how long you've been listening, how much you listen to the song. But like, I don't have premium anymore, so I was seeing if I could still see it, and then I just saw this come up. Most listened song is on Bo 47 RD. It's supposed to be on board, but it's 47 between the A and RD. One.
I'm not familiar. See, Donald Trump's into the niche, bro. He's into the niche. He ain't into black people music, bro. He ain't like white people music.
Donald Trump was a champion. Donald Trump was a champion for black people up until.
He was good friends with Michael Jackson.
He was good friends. Like he was friends with a lot of those upward mobility guys. Stop trying to bring Michael Jackson to this, my nigga. Come on. I specifically, while you were fucking off on the end, like your internet was messing up. I specifically told Trey that's like what I don't want to talk about. And this nigga use it to segue into the topic.
I'm not getting into it. I'm just stating facts.
How many times
can I not use examples? Can I not use relevant examples?
But historically, Donald Trump was an ally to black hip hoppers. He was on to Cal 2000. Yeah, well, he also, I think he wrote the intro to Russell Simmons' book, also known fucking nasty nigga too. But tough. Like, Trey, why don't you get one? Like, I still have more to say because I feel like I didn't even get to my point here. About it. What's
the last? You were gonna ask me a question?
All right. So no, like we live in this system, right? People are constantly asking, like, can you continue to enjoy an artist whose morals and ethics do not align with theirs, with mine, and how can I continue to enjoy them? And it's like, no, like if you continue to enjoy them, you're giving them money and interest, and it continues to reify them as a working artist. So you have to do that. But like for me, separating from the art from the artist is not that moral imperative. It's like it is an analytical method, and you don't need to know anything about them to glean a pure or basic way about connecting with the art. It's a good question to ask ourselves, like, why is it why do I intend on interacting with the art? What is my purpose for separating the art from the artist? Why is presenting a moral or ethical or ideological character in the social space important to the discussion of art? So, like, how do you interact with art? And it's not just art. Like, if you're drawing these moral imperatives about individuals and requiring you to have a parasocial relationship with the art in order to kind of interact with them, like, what doesn't need to meet this criteria? Like, do you like Ghibli? Because like Hayato, like Miyazaki has been Ghibli movies, Ghibli, what needs to be there? And this slippery slope of kind of using this to determine how you interact is very difficult. And I'm not giving the argument that says everything is like there's no ethical consumption of capitalism. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that when we often create these lines and we take them to the extent that we like to have a tendency to project into what these artists have done and what they did, whether it's true or false, and we project those to other people, it kind of does a disservice in a few different ways. But if it makes you feel good, I feel kind of like, why not go ahead and do it? It's just not something that I tend to really participate in, because Trey and I are talking about this Michael Jackson situation. Like, I've done a little bit of research. I don't know what Trey's done on it. I've read a variety of things, and I'm not even a Michael Jackson truther like that. I joke about it. I don't love his music that much any more than I like any. Like, I think he's perfectly fine. I hate this nigga. I think it was like a huge. I think he was a huge artist and probably one of like the biggest artists. But like, if I start to draw these lines about artists like in a variety of different ways, like Miles Davis is evil, fucking everybody, like, there's so many artists who would have been canceled for these things as we
MLK
progressively
cheated on his wife. No.
we progressively move towards changing the values in modern time and projecting it back into history and giving value judgments. And oftentimes I feel like those individualistic value judgments on the misgivings of a person's subscriptive positions about things in the moral landscape is like it's inescapable for you to make moral value judgments and not be hypocritical about other artists you're listening to. It's like you really
Trey,
set yourself up. You said this nigga was saying interrupting me. It's like if you make these value judgments, you kind of set yourself up for a slippery slope that's difficult to navigate. And when it comes to me separating the art from the artist, I am like extremely capable of doing it because I'm not creating any parasocial relationships. Oftentimes I'm just listening to it and taking the part of it that I was supposed to receive. Like I have absolutely like Hitler, right? Like I'm able to look at Hitler. I mean, I say
Hitler's art from his actions.
I'm able to look at a picture that Hitler paid and say, yeah, that's just kind of weak. You know what I mean? It's like I don't necessarily have to. I don't put myself in a position where liking Kanye is for what he did in 2007 is somehow a moral imperative that I can't do anymore. It's like, yo, bro, 2007 was 20 years ago. I don't need to try to make a moral valuation that makes other people feel comfortable or makes me feel comfortable about it. It's like if I'm trying to make a moral evaluation on it, what I'm trying to do is convince Trey that I'm not a bad person for listening to Kanye. Like, why do I give a fuck? Well, you're the nigga that was listening to him, not me. So I mean, I would never listen. I would never listen to Kanye except for the Hail Hitler song because I think that's legitimately fucking hilarious, and I'm a Hitler supporter now.
Yeah, we know.
Like, okay, Trey, go. Trey, see?
I'm just letting y'all get it off.
Megan saying that might get Code's visa validated. Who knows? Anyways, I was gonna say I agree with you where like I agree with you like in a big sense and like in a larger picture sense. This is something I dwell on. I feel like this is a big question for people who do not have their own moral framework and are and vicariously get their fucking beliefs through public figures and shit. And I can
Let me interrupt you and say I agree with you on that, but I think the vast majority of people are functioning off of a moral framework that is fucking kooky. And do I need to say the word again? Do I need to go through the history of the Enlightenment age and the Renaissance and all these things that contributed to where the fuck we are right now?
It's low key.
Do I need to? Because I can.
I feel like you might have to drop it on him.
Would you like me? Would you like me to go and start from that?
Yeah, man. Tell the phone.
No, just say it.
Romanticism
You're edging the audience right now.
Rationality highlighting the first ways of individualism pushed us in a way of subjects to interact. In the 19th century, we were forced to interact in different ways, and in the modern age, we've arrived past that. We have become complete. Okay, no, I'm not neoliberal. Join the Patreon for the extra Jew. I agree 100% with Trey, but what I believe is that so much of this is
most niggas framework are busted. Politics.
Whack politics. I'm like, yo, this nigga, like, I'm seriously like, whenever I encounter like people with this super fucking woke, especially when it comes to like intersectionality and shit, it's always from an anarchist who doesn't really read theory, but they have all these bumper sticker politics they got from their favorite poets and their favorite tweets, and they approach that shit like it's fucking like it's like science and trans-historical, and it's functioned throughout history the whole time. These niggas don't read, these niggas don't know, these niggas is so trash, and that's why they have a hard time just admitting to themselves in the mirror that I like J. Cole. It's like, no, nigga, like you are terrible. And you should never.
This nigga is so bad. This nigga. I don't know this nigga Leo. I don't know this nigga
Leo. Ever got.
I've never
seen
the most
mad I've ever seen, nigga.
What did this nigga Leo do to him, bro?
I gotta go back and read Leo's messages, bro.
Yo, I need to find out. That was crazy. That was crazy. There was so much rage in his voice.
Bro, we gonna get in trouble. We're laughing way too much. We're gonna get in trouble.
Bro, he had Mega so loud. Mega was like this. Mega was doing
he was cutting a wrestling promo, bro. When I find you at WrestleMania, Leo. Crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Anyways,
it's crazy.
Just for the record, Martin Luther King did not cheat on his wife. That was decided by the government.
What are you talking about?
One of my favorite Woods lines is where he says, "FBI listening to Dr. King's motel bed springs. This some freaky shit." But he like yells it like, "This some freaky shit," and I'm like, "Yeah, bro, that is some freaky shit." Like imagine like you're wiretapped in like Martin Luther King's communications, and then you just hear him like getting busy on the other end. Like that's weird, bro.
That is weird. That is strange. I do agree. But you gotta separate the art. You gotta separate the art from the artist in that case. You know, he has his politics. He has his being, getting freaky in the shit. You know, that's the thing. You gotta keep those as two separate things, bro. Separate.
Also, this is relevant. This is also relevant when niggas tried to like railroad Dr. Umar and say he was like with that white woman at the mall. He wasn't with the white woman at the mall, bro. He wasn't with her, bro. He did that. She was a fan. She came up and talked to him. Dr. Umar is a man of his word. I don't believe in the slander and shit. Okay, just to clear the record.
Yeah,
just
on my favorite.
Dr. Umar gonna open up that school soon.
Dr. Umar, come on the show, please. Dr. Umar, please come on the show.
I'm not doing a show with Dr. Umar, bro.
We are doing.
I can't separate the art from the artist, man. It's just too much. Like that would be too much to my integrity. Like I can't do it.
Trey, what were you saying about Yeah, you were saying something before.
Oh yeah, I'm saying this is an imperative question to people that have don't have their own moral frameworks, like thought out moral frameworks. And they have to project it through various artists and shit. And I feel like, I mean, like when I was younger, this was something I did too. Like when I
I think
when I had an artist do some fuck shit, I was like, bro, how do I reconcile this? I don't know how to do that. And like, I don't know, that's silly.
you know, Trey, I actually agree with that. Like, as much as I find it like insufferable at times that people can be so pedantic about these things and be so like morally righteous about these approaches, like really what they're trying to do is they're just trying to navigate the world in a way that makes them feel as though they're contributing to the betterment of society. And
Yeah.
I think that I generally think that's a good thing. But sometimes,
It's noble.
depending on what it is, it's deeply unserious in ways on how you approach it. Like it's one thing to be like, "Yo, this nigga R. Kelly is terrible, man. I can't believe that. I'm not gonna listen to his music anymore. I don't feel good about that. Like when I'm listening to his songs, it feels bad. It's like, yeah, wow, some of this is not good, and I won't do it anymore." There's a difference between that and then there's a difference between you trying to castigate people for enjoying art and you constantly having to bring in the artist into the conversation about art when the conversation is about the art and not necessarily about the artist. If we're talking about James Brown being a good person, or we're talking about James Brown being like an artist, like it's two different things. Like, man, he was on a lot of drugs, he did a lot of messed up things. It's a part of his personality, and you know, it's also one of the things that help create the art. There's conversations to have about that, but we really like, you know, I think, did you say you're reading Adorno and Gramsci recently, Like this
not extensively, just
okay,
basically there are some different parts of his stuff that were coming up during
right.
my I was writing an essay on what Mark Fisher said about the current like cultural like mode of operation being that of like fatigue and
Sure.
self-referential like reality. And I was just interested in like, because I've read up on some modernism and seen the way that specifically like him and Babbitt talk about art and like how artists should operate within the world. I found that to be there was overlap there to talk about. But yeah.
Sure. Well, you know, like Mark Fisher is actually a really good read about this. Like, I don't know if you read "Exiting the Vampire Castle," but it kind of
That's not what
talks
I
a
read,
little
no.
bit of it kind of talks about this very thing. And it's like, you know, Gramsci also says things like, we need to free ourselves of the habit of seeing culture as this encyclopedia of knowledge, and man, or I
Mm-hmm.
guess people, as mere reciprocals of stuff to be empirical data. And that means that you don't take an individual and then make data points about them in order to describe exactly what they were and how they focus throughout society. You take an individual and you can see some of these data points, but it also has to be historically contingent to the time and the space that they were operating in. And it also has to allow that type of elbow room for the subjective experience about this. Like it's true. Nobody that was around Hitler said that he beat his dog. Like, they were like, man, Hitler is, if you only look at the part, like, Hitler was really nice to his dogs. Like,
Thank
that's
God
a
he
good
didn't
person.
abuse his
That,
dog,
like,
man.
these
That would have been
moments,
too much.
these moments that we kind of focus on, it's like you know, like I am still an advocate for things like, you know, believe the victims first and do that, but I'm also you guys know me, y'all know me, like I'm deeply critical of what I consider woke culture. I believe that wokeness is the successor ideology of Western liberalism, and I believe that a lot of these things that we discuss that are along the kind of spectrum roadmap of intersectionality when it comes to this legal aspect of who people are, this Kimberly Crenshaw black, you know, all these categories of gay, straight, trans, and this line, I deeply believe that a lot of times that when people are coming at discussing art through that specific lens, it leads us down this slippery slope. And I think that we can separate art from the artist if we use different conventions of critiquing art. And oftentimes that is my approach. I
Yeah.
don't I don't fucking like, you know where I go? I go to Walmart. I shop on Amazon. It's cheaper that way. I would love to disavow them. My nigga, I'm
you
broke.
fucking
I'm
Nazi.
broke with
You
it.
fucking Nazi. You're a fucking
Oh my-
Nazi. What the fuck?
This is the trolling. This is the trolling that I be wanting to like. I like if me and Trey were together in the room, I'd be like, nigga, let's box right now. Flat box.
Girl, the boycott. Girl, the boycott.
I get so upset about because I know he's trolling me, right? But like this is the thing. It's like, but he's right though, right? It's easy. He's doing
right.
Exactly
You're a Nazi.
No, yes, that too. They were the Nationalist Socialist Party. Aren't you a socialist, Co? What are you?
You're right.
Come on, think about it. You need to read more theory, man. The word is right there in the title.
Like that Mario Party image, right? Like the Nazi party, the Mario Party.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he's doing exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why it irritates me so much, and that's why he's so good at fucking doing that shit, right? But like, I forgot the point I was making now. Damn it!
Too much laughing, bro. Too much laughing.
You shop at Walmart. You shop at Amazon.
Right. I'm shopping at Walmart. I'm going on Amazon because like my material conditions, bro. I'm fucking poor, and the cheapest thing I can go to the mom and pop shop and buy a fucking watermelon because I'm black and some grape juice because I'm black. There's grape soda because I'm black. Or I can go to the bigger shop and get a discount. And even though it's only 30 cents, that stacks up. And like if you start to make your moral imperative based upon these like ethical judgments for individuals, I feel like we need to stop doing that. We need to have a more egalitarian, cosmopolitan idea of these things. And that also means that we have to give people a little bit of elbow room when they're making other mistakes, like fucking being Karens and shit like that. Like to have a truly like, again, like Marxism. I like to champion this because I people hear me talk all the time, but I never really champion. Marxism, again, is a project that specializes in the material and critical critique of these relationships, and it goes beyond the other methodologies of those ideological positions. I try my best to be truly egalitarian on the left, and it doesn't mean that I need to create enemies. It means that I need to seek to bring in the so-called opposition into our ranks. Be kind to people and ruthless to institutions. And because I don't focus on the individual that much, I don't necessarily need to make my fucking ethical standpoints about an individual person whose relationship with what's happening in their life is completely parasocial. I have no idea what this nigga did to not be Kang anymore. I don't know. I read the news reports. He dealing with a white woman. Probably his fault. If I'm gonna be honest with it, shouldn't have been fucking with that white woman.
Wait,
that's why you're not Kang.
You go MCU.
Yeah, I was
Kang, you mean Jonathan Mayers? Yeah.
I was gonna buy the MCU, and they sent a white woman.
I thought you said Kang. Like I thought you were being like, we used to be Kangs. I thought you were doing that. I was lost.
We did used to be Kangs.
You said I don't know what he did to stop being Kangs, and I was like, what?
Kangs. We was Kangs, and so we started focusing on the individual.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, wait, what's happening? What was going on? That's why I was lost.
No, but what I'm saying is, again, to be kind to people and ruthless to institutions, to be profoundly inclusive, non-hectoring, radically non-compromising on these ideas, and introducing people to a visionary message of solidarity and why our world can be reshaped with these radical politics. I have to deal with people who are trying to figure out what blackness is and what it means to be black and what race means all the time. It's like, yo, bro, it's like, and I'm not a class reductionist. I'm a Pan-African socialist who's the primary point. I am not a class reductionist, my nigga. I just don't view black people in a. This is too much.
I'm with you.
This is too much. I'm not a class reductionist. These politics are class politics. The politics of poor black people are class politics. But my politics are not functioning in the same way as cats. And when you have this conversation, just like you said, KOSEY, a lot of times it's to obfuscate the idea that these niggas want to feel good about liking fuck shit. And that's true, but there's also a critique that's beyond that we can do better in doing. and there's also a way for us to judge individuals and decide not to support them. And both of those ways and a multitude of other ways don't necessarily have us on the fuck shit of, I don't know really what I think. I got to listen to everybody else tell me what I think because I didn't want to fucking read. And also, Jonathan Majors, if people weren't so woke, then we could have had Kang. It's like people are stupid.
Could have been Kang, bro.
He could have been Kang.
We get an MCU reboot. It's for the greater good.
Conditions create this world. It's a material world. Stop fucking using your imagination so much and fucking figure this shit out. Sick of tired of these niggas, bro.
Cursing.
No, I'll never give. That's like
if someone tells us stop saying fuck, that's it. That's like the whole podcast coming down, bro.
What if they were like, come, my grandmother, she really likes you guys. She really wants to listen to you, but you guys just curse so much.
Yeah. What if they're like,
consider my grandmother.
Yeah, my father was killed by a fuck. We're outside and my father was killed by a fuck. And it was like, oh man, it's rough, you know.
Why do you sound like a South Park character when you said that?
I don't know. I got a few voices and like 3 of them are dudes, and then I have one voice for women.
Go on.
And it's like,
no, shit, please no.
That's tough.
This nigga kill me. Yeah, that's it. That's the only one. Even when my wife hates that one because every time I try to be like, now you was like, oh yeah, I did it. And she's like, I don't sound like that. I was like, I know, but I only have one voice. What do you want me to do? He was like, oh, what's up, nigga? Shit. Like, no, you don't sound like that either. At least I'm trying to be a little feminine. It's called inclusivity. Like,
that's problematic, Mega. That's deeply problematic.
I am so problematic, bro. I've come to realize this so much being on Discord.
Here at What's Up with the Minutes, we separate the art from the artist. Ignore Mega's character. Ignore him. Ignore it.
Bro,
separate Mega from us.
Separate What's Up from the Minutes.
Yeah, separate What's Up. No, it's like, we need a disclaimer. Like the thoughts of Mega are fucking not necessarily the thoughts of the What's Up with the Minutes podcast. We're fully Go ahead.
I do think there is something really interesting to be said though for like the way that the separate from the artist from the art, like the art from the artist conversation like normally goes down, and how like I understand what you're saying about like people's politics being whack, and obviously this is just another subject of that, but like how descriptive and concrete it is considering the like fluidity of it all. Like obviously like the scale at which what one artist is like, oh, they do all of this stuff. It's like how many different things need to happen for it to be like, no, absolutely not at this point. You know, the lack of fluidity in the conversation is something that I really dislike. Is like the things that an artist can do to be exiled and never be talked about again, yada yada, are constantly fluid and moving as like culture moves, and the standards of which people are currently moving at change. You know, if someone doing something like heinous now may have not been in the past, because understanding of those things as heinous has changed and shifted over time. So I think it definitely requires like a historical like contingent. Yeah, like a historical contingent analysis of these people. Like, you know, like not to say that this is like
drop a name.
I'm saying like
John Wayne said nigger.
No, but I just mean like at the
1909.
time. I just mean the time when like you see like R. Kelly, for instance, not for the Bane thing, but for the thing with Aaliyah. The thing with Aaliyah that was going on. He was making songs about it. People were hearing about it. At that time, the idea of that was not nearly as frowned upon as it is now. Someone could not come out with Age Ain't Nothing But a Number now because
our parents were problematic.
It was on MTV News.
That's what I'm saying.
News that there was a rumor that he married Aaliyah, and
that's what I'm saying. Like those that could not happen now. I mean, it could, but it couldn't be broadcasted to the level it was. You couldn't have the title track of someone's like whatever album it was of hers, be these two people who are supposedly maybe in a relationship, and this guy is like a million years older than her. That type of thing can't happen now. Can't happen, but would be frowned upon in a complete. Sorry, let me finish. Would be frowned upon in a completely different way. So in order to approach that topic, you need to have that understanding of the historical moment that person was within. You know, to critique someone currently with the present is to misunderstand what they were doing. You know, it's to completely misunderstand the thing that allowed them to feel like they could do that. You know, the contextual like reality that they live within was changing and shifting. And now looking back, we can understand. Okay, yeah, 100% that was a abusive like misbalance of power. But at
So
the
you're saying
time
R.
that
Kelly did
that
nothing
language,
wrong?
no, I'm not.
Why is this nigga Trey only on trolling with his points today?
I've been mad serious today.
No, you've not, nigga.
Also,
The fuck?
Also,
Bro,
I
I got silly this topic.
All right,
Y'all
no,
got it.
mega go.
No, I'm gonna let him cook. No, but
No,
but also what you're also what you're saying, Ko, about how it was historically continued at the time. You lack the foresight because you live in the now to understand what now will be considered fucking passe and faux pas 20 years from now. And a lot of people, they forget that element of it, and they think that because they are on the current tide of progressivism, that they will not ever make any transgressions against things in the future either. And so 20 years from now, it might come out that the tweets about trolling are absolutely, you know, I'm just example,
yo, they go
extremely problematic.
Dre, bro.
You're lying.
You're
lying in public. Like, this is not something we would do
I hope so.
in a society.
I hope in the future, in the distant future, any nigga that was like, "Yo, I'm rage banning," I hope they get executed, but not me. I do it in a funny way. I do it. I deploy it in a productive, funny way. Even Megan, I was gonna say the tide of progressivism. A good point. Martin Luther King once again. He was pro-Israel. A lot of the activists of the time, it was woke to be pro-Israel. Cause like nigga, we were coming off of World War II. You're like, bro, we gotta give the Jewish people something. But the tide changed, the art changed. You're like, oh shit, exactly the apartheid that's looked up.
Turns out these niggas.
But you gotta look at it. You gotta look at it within context.
Yeah. I don't like to set myself up for those type of things. Like, I don't have a moral imperative. Just like, why are you wearing Nike? Like, why are you shopping? Like, I don't do those type of things. And like, and also like, very clearly, you know, we've had a variety of these conversations because I seem to be the only anti-woke nigga around a lot of times. And so I've defended, you know, my friends, I've defended artists, like, you know, I've talked about A$AP Rock, Bus Driver, Rory, and some of their allegations. I brought up like Aziz Ansari and the dynamics of these things. And there's an entire spectrum of shit, you know what I mean? Like it's there's an entire spectrum because these are all individual actions, but ultimately I remain in the same position when it comes to judging, like separating the art from the artist. I don't feel like I need to do that in the like liberal way, but I absolutely find myself being like, no, I don't fuck with this. I don't listen to Professor Sky, not because Professor Sky is some demon or some shit,
white.
but I am making an ethical and moral, like I am making a judgment based upon what
Sky did to be unethical. What the fuck?
Oh, I hate how he'll do an album review and call it analysis. And I hate how his name is Professor Sky just because he's a professor and shit. Yeah, well, no, I just don't. There's some shit I don't like.
You don't fuck with him as a guy.
I just don't like.
See,
I don't like.
As time goes
I don't
on,
like what he do. I don't like what he do. I think he's an outsider. I don't like how people look at him.
I am more and more disillusioned with people like railroading people for like individual actions, like you listen to this person, et cetera, et cetera. At this point, I'm just like, when niggas tell me like they still listen to new Kanye, I'm not like, bro, you're nuts, you're fucking. I just think you're weak. I just think you're weak. That's my perspective. I'm like, bro, you are mentally weak ass nigga.
Wait until you get my age, and then you find people liking shit like anime, and like, nigga, you weak.
Nah,
you watching cartoons.
That can never happen.
Like,
to me.
No, it like. You know, we're correct answer machines. We always feel like we're right. And that's why when you start making these moral imperatives and shit, you feel like you're right until you change it up 20 years later and shit. It's like, yo, I used to think that anime was good. But then, you know, after I talk about how these shonen protagonists are the devil,
One Piece is
6 months from now,
media. That's problematic
10 months from now, y'all going to be on that same boat and be like, I can't believe I watched One Piece. The stories just repeat all the time. They just go to a new island. And then after they go to a new island,
I will end the podcast. I will end the podcast
right now.
Nigga, I've been on my
guys.
I've been figuring out.
Guys,
10 years from now, Trey will be like, I was with Mega the whole time.
Recommendations. No. Yo, wait, quick. I'm about to go to my Spotify. You guys tell me if you can still see me.
Okay, we can't see you.
I can, nigga. You are in space.
We cannot see you. Screen went black.
No, it looks like it's black.
I don't even know if she can hear us.
Browns. Yeah.
Could you not
I
hear
can't
me?
hear her.
Could you couldn't hear me?
No,
just
not
now?
at all.
We
Not
couldn't
at
hear
all.
you,
What the
and the screen was
balls?
black.
Okay, I'm gonna just give me a sec. Give me a sec. I had to switch to my phone because the whole fuck shit. You know the fuck shit. You know
Megan,
the
do you
fuck
have any
shit.
recommendations?
No, it's been fine. Don't bring it up. Do I have any recommendations?
Yes.
Yeah.
What are they?
What are they?
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been recently I've noticed there was a person inside of the Secret House Discord that was asking if there was any critique of underground or hip hop from a Marxist perspective, and I confidently feel like no. I feel like maybe my interactions over the last 3 years are probably the closest it gets to that in a lot of ways. But I have been reading some books that are about art and Marxism. One of them that I've been reading is called The Radical History and the Politics of Art by Gabriel Rockhill. And this one is Gabriel Rockhill is so strong of an academic that I'm actually having a difficult time reading this one. I keep on having to go back and like double check on like my understanding of certain terms that he's using, but it's really good. And what I plan on doing in the future is plagiarizing a lot of like straight up bars and lines from that to make it seem as though I'm smarter, because it is just brilliant. I've also been
doing
reading
that a lot.
Oh, that's the way to go. Plagiarism's tight. Plagiarism's super tight. I've also been reading Sounds of the Underground, a cultural and aesthetic mapping of underground and fringe music by Stephen Graham. Maybe it's Stephen Graham. White names, I don't know. If it was a black name, it'd be Stefan. But yeah, so I'm just reading books. I watched Marty Supreme.
What did you think of it?
You
said it in the group chat.
I put my thoughts in the group.
No,
not the group chat.
Oh, you did? I'll
House.
check it out.
Yeah, actually,
we had a really good conversation about it.
It was quite. I didn't get to listen to your voice messages. Stop doing that and just type nigga. Come on. Like I was not in the space where I could listen to the voice.
Cole's voice.
I was like literally I was just like not around a place where I could listen to the voice note. So I didn't listen to it, and that's why I didn't comment on your thoughts on it.
Scared to listen to Cole
my Ty and I had a pretty good talk about it. I thought it was strangely hauntological in the sense that it felt like displaced in time. Displaced in time, like not really gesturing towards historicism, but not really there at all. Especially with some of the language, like the way that they talk. Was really
the way that they talk for the time period is definitely
1950s is like, hey this guy hit me up, and it's like and then Tyler's like, what the fuck, cuz? It's like my nigga. Like it was like, yo, you guys are wilding out. It was like not that egregious, but there definitely was a line like, yo, this guy hit me up. It's like nobody said hit me up in 1950s, bro. Like but it was also like I actually really
kind of like that for the performance because like Marty feels like a very modern day like hustle culture ass nigga, and it also I don't know. Whenever I think of that movie, I just think of like strong themes of like American chauvinism. That's what that movie feels like.
Sure, there a lot of that's the point. Like also all of the all the music in the movie, besides the stuff that was done by One Tricks Point Never, was like 80s songs, right? But it's like, how do 80s songs necessarily like interact and work with the 1950s? Oh, they interact and work with the 1950s precisely like this. It gives us a sense of nostalgia, a familiar sense of nostalgia, and recognize that time is in the past, but it's also not accurate at all. I actually thought Marty Supreme was a tremendously entertaining movie. And also, he's a bit of an asshole, but he would have probably been a friend of mine. Even after.
Yo, can we just talk about Marty Supreme for a little now? Can we just talk about Marty Supreme for a bit now? Yeah, yo, Marty Supreme. Like, I really enjoyed the movie. I definitely I've watched quite a few of those. The main character is the guy you don't like movies, and a lot of them like leave me as a kind of like, yeah, I just don't like them. It's like it doesn't. I don't have a lot of like intrigue towards like their motivations as a result of that. I'm just like I'm not enjoying this character. But I found Marty Supreme was like one of those I really did feel like I was there and I was understanding the direction he was being pulled and pushed in a way that it really intrigued me. I really enjoyed. I felt like as much as it's like super clear the entire movie that everything he is doing is slowly tearing apart his life, it's also like inherent to the society he's in that he's required to do that. Otherwise, he will crumble and fall regardless. You know, crumble and fall into
Yes.
obscurity and into like complete nothingness. And I think that's such a
Poverty.
beautiful like part of the movie. Like, it's,
I actually think that your take kind of makes you a bad person. I personally could not separate the art from the artist.
No.
Like, he's a good ping pong player, terrible person, and
Fantano reviewed the movie, and it was like a lot of like, he's a bad person, so I don't like it.
Wait. Time out.
No. Let me finish.
Not only did Fantano review a movie, but you watched the review. You gotta.
I didn't even watch.
I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time separating the art from the artist here. Like, I thought Trey was a different type of person.
I read a synopsis about it, then I watched a video talking about a synopsis. But it was like it was a lot of like he's a bad person, so I don't like it as critiques. But it was also like trying to be self-aware in that same sense. It kind of just like he tried to self-awarely be like, he's a bad person, so I don't like it. But I don't know. I don't know.
Fantano sucks. Bro,
anyways,
I think Fantano's good at talking, but he fucking sucks for opinions.
I like the movie from, I don't know. It feels like it is definitely like, I love how the setting is one thing, but also I think the charismatic asshole is a very popular archetype in person, especially in modern day.
I personally didn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just think interacting with that in the context of I don't know, like this whole rat race that we do to like kind of like I don't know, a lot of it is like the misogynistic aspects and like desire to be great and shit like that, but also just putting that in the context of like his like material conditions and like how like he don't really got shit to his name, so like this kind of has to work in a way.
Yeah,
but the lack of consequences is also very realistic. So I didn't mind the ending in that regard because I don't know. I feel like it would have been very forced to like Uncut Gems. There's like a consequence at the end, and that makes sense in that context because I feel like he was running up against something like very specific. I think Marty is like a more realistic example where like nigga, terrible people like they don't fucking always get punished. They don't always get what they deserve.
Precisely.
Yeah, he just gets like a second chance of redemption. Like a beautiful gift of life is given to him, and he can cry as if none of the previous ills have happened. He can just become anew. You know, as he got baptized by the
but I like how like he's still all that shit is still staring him down even in that moment.
But like there's also something finally in his life that is bigger than himself and his dreams.
Yes,
it was really good. It was really good.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
I didn't like, as I was watching out, I wasn't super critical of Marty because I do think that they do a really good job of making him kind of endearing and charming. And I also like what you said, Trey, about how kind of it parallels a lot of the kind of male social ills that we see in the present day. And I hadn't really thought about them that way, but they're very pronounced, and they've been pronounced even in the 1950s. It was not like an odd thing to be that type of individual. But every single character in the movie also seems to feel like alive and realized. Even like the friend who made the ping pong balls, the parents, like everything around Marty was not necessarily just a funnel into focus on Marty. All the people around him who seemed to catch on fire by being around him also felt like people a part of this story. And despite like it being in New York or wherever it was, like, and not having like any tangible touching of like the world being real, the characters filled this world, and it made the 80s songs work well. It made all of it work well. Marty Supreme, actually, like when I finished watching, I was like, okay, that is actually a brilliant film that I'm going to think about for 45 minutes. And every single conversation that I've had about the film afterwards, which was like on Secret House and Here Now, is kind of like somebody else has told me their experience with it, and it highlights something else that is good to me about the movie. Like, this is the type of movie that rewards your kind of academic inclination and trying to dive into it and find it. And all of that is even knowing that this Safdie brother is a rapist. It's really tough to separate the art from the artist.
Like the director?
I learned that later.
Like the director?
I did learn. Yeah. Yes.
Word.
I thought it was two niggas.
No, I actually just lied about that. I didn't know about that at all. I was just doing a fucking bit.
I don't know if he was.
I don't know anything about them other than the movie.
I don't know if he's a rapist, but he did. There was something problematic with him.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know about that. I was doing a bit, but still, like, no,
you're gonna get sued for libel.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, once they, like, hit the like, subscribe, that promotes us in the algorithm.
If you're on mobile, hit the hype button. That'll gas our video
if you're on Tubi, add us to your watch list.
Can we get on Tubi? Could we get on Tubi? Do they allow this on Tubi?
But I actually have been talking to a nigga who's starting a television channel, online channel. So maybe I'll talk to y'all about that once we figure out more. I gotta hit him up again because he's got visions.
Yeah. Okay, well,
so I'm talking about we'll be streaming
24/7. What's up with the Minute channel?
Tough.
yeah. That part.
That's tough. We probably have days of content out now. I didn't even think about that. Like,
this is episode 19.
This is episode 19, and like usually like 3-hour recordings.
So that's what 60 topics.
Nigga, yeah, we had 60 topics, bro. That's crazy.
We do 3 topics every time. It's like that's like that, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's wild. 50. I think we're 57 right now. What my recommendations? I've got two. Okay, my friend got Ian, aka Internet, aka Garth Ian, Filipino guy. I'm a big fan of. Big friend.
Shout out to
guy,
my
I've known this guy.
I've
known this guy since
it's AAPI month. Shout out, big.
I don't know that.
What does that mean?
My favorite.
What's API stand
for? Asian Pacific Islander Inclination Month.
It's Asian American and Pacific Islander.
Okay, power.
Okay, shout out.
Yeah.
Folks, so first recommendation for anyone trying to learn Tagalog out there. My guy Ian, he's invented an app, created an app. A genius, a brilliant app that people are saying is amazing. Just shout out my guy. It's called Tarsier. TARSIER : learn Tagalog. So if you're trying to learn, if you're trying to, get Filipino out here, you know what I mean? If you're trying to get Filipino, get crazy and go stupid and shit like that, you know what I mean? We out here. Ian is doing that. Check out his app. It seems cool.
I'm such a bad Filipino, bro. Like I'm not.
Download the app, Mega, bro. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Nah, I know like 5 Filipino words, and I know how to cook like 3 meals. And I love my mom, and that's like
shout out your mom though.
My wife, she was like, "Yo, your sister Ruby is the most Filipino black person I've ever met," and I was like, "That bitch, she black as fuck. What are you talking about?" And she was like, "Watch this." And she pointed out like 5 different things that my mom does. And I was like, "Oh shit, my sister does point with her lips." This is a Filipino thing. Filipino people point with their lips, bro. Over there. And I was like, "Yo, I didn't realize. Oh my God, my sister is not as black as me. I won, even though her hair is more crinkly than mine. She got more non-ether. I won." Yeah, shout out to Filipinos.
Yeah, shout out. That's the people I'm meeting in New York. I've known them man since I was 15. Like through
Filipino
online spaces.
Filipino people are great. Of all the kind of like Asian Pacific and Western like Asian cultures who assimilated into the United States, and Tagalog is like the 3rd most spoken language in California. Filipinos were one of the only ethnic groups that were into what like I'm thinking of like interbreeding, like, which is like a crazy animal.
Excuse me.
So like they were interested in having interracial relationships more so than your Koreans, Japanese, Chinese people. A lot of that demographic of other East Asians, they don't do that. Vietnamese people don't do that. Filipinos, it's very common, or at least it was very common for Filipinos to be very multiracial, like multicultural, like Filipino women marrying Mexicans, blacks, whites, fucking, all types of cultures. And Filipino culture is really good for that. As I was growing up, like I all of my Filipino family I didn't have any cousins that were Filipino and Filipino. It was always Filipino half, Filipino half. Black and Filipino, white and Filipino, China, like it was always like that. So Filipinos were really great with that, and also the Filipino community has contributed to hip hop in a really tremendous way. That is super pronounced. Like we were the roving bands of turntablists. Like if you look at some of the greatest turntablists and scratch DJs of all time, like the top 10 of them, there's like 6 of them who are Filipinos, and Filipino peoples have been rocking with racial inclusion and hip hop culture for a long time. And I got a lot of love and respect for my Filipino people. I'm more black and more California and more hip hop than I am. Like, more black California and hip hop than I am Filipino. I just don't know how to do it.
You switched
I don't
up
know how
them,
to be
bro.
a Filipino
Switched
person.
up on the Filipinos, bro. Oh, yeah,
I do not know how to be a Filipino. When I meet Filipino people out here, because they're not Western. They're from the Philippines and they come to Japan. When I go to their spots, I'm like, yo, I might as well be in a fucking German restaurant right now. I don't know what y'all doing at all with this shit. What is this?
Word.
Like one time I went in there and all the food was just on the table. No plates. Like just
Oh,
on the
wow.
table. Like,
I thought,
like literally
I thought
just on the table.
Before. I thought you meant you went there and then you didn't even order and you just walked in and
no,
there's already food
it was
everywhere.
Like it was like a buffet. It was like a family
Uh-huh.
style buffet, but all the food was just on the table. I'm talking about like the meat was sitting on the table. Like you just pick it up and put it on your plate. No plates. I didn't know anything about that, but
That's
apparently
tough.
that's a super typical Filipino way of serving food that my family and all the Filipino American Association shit that I went to as a kid. And I learned how to do Filipino stuff. My mom was a part of the Filipino American Association. I knew a lot of my best friends and cousins that used to protect that school was Filipino nerds and shit. Like, you're not fucking with my cousin. That's Mega's cousin. He'll you know what I mean? Like that type of work. But like, yeah, it was weird. Like I'm not Filipino like that. I'm just not.
Yeah, well then download the Tosia app in your app store today. Shout out. My second, no, it's cool.
Rant about me for 7 minutes.
No,
you know what I mean?
we fuck with you. You know, you gotta get your cultural dissonance of your.
If you weren't here, I think without like. If you weren't here giggling and stuff, I think me and Trey would have already stopped this podcast. Episode 3.
This shit would have been an hour long.
I would have started challenging him about how Marxist he is. Like, oh, you trying to
you did that one time. You did that
recommendation.
One time. Oh yeah, my second recommendation is Cut For Me.
See how you cut me off again?
Can't check me, nigga.
The name is Kesha, and it's spelled with a money symbol.
No, it's not. You're bugging. You're bugging out. No, that's not who I'm talking about.
The white woman who made
I'm talking about K-E-L-E-L-A. This is a different lady.
Can I just joke a little bit? Why y'all gotta be so mean? I thought you were being serious.
No jokes allowed.
I said Kesha with the money sign. Isn't that a known white person?
We don't have time for jokes.
Let's find Kesha with the Kesha with the
white. Really want to go?
Let's find Kesha white lady. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Cut For Me by Kalela. It's one of those albums that like was played a lot for me around the house when I was a kid. Mega told me about the that thing that the Spotify is doing right now when you can see like the first songs you were playing, the songs you played the most.
And consumers.
Because my mom's had Spotify since 2014. So the music that like I grew up listening to all the time was mostly through Spotify. So when I'm seeing this list, it's mostly like loads of her shit that she was playing me when I was like 10 like going upwards. So it was like
little baby.
So like Cut For Me was one of those joints that like was around the house all the time. Bankhead - Extended specifically, that's one of the most beautiful songs ever. That is one of the most beautiful songs ever. You guys need to check that shit out. Cut For Me by Kalela, specifically Bankhead Extended, beautiful musics. Those are my 2 recommendations done. TREDOES, what do you have to say to the good people?
My 2. First one, It's Been Awful, Isaiah Rashad. I didn't recommend it last week because I was still trying to. I still had to spend time with the album and figure it out.
Okay, word.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm really interested in hearing Trey talk about this.
I did change the track list a little bit because some songs don't work. Cameras, I don't feel it. Boy in Red, I love the sentiment behind it, but I don't like in the context of the album. I didn't make kind of my version of the album, which I never do. But like
I did that with Sick, bro. I did that with Sick.
Isaiah's one of my favorite ever, so I'm like I will make my perfect album. But like most of the album is great. I don't the vulnerability on the project, like I don't know, the way he talks about addiction, and the way he talks about his family dynamics and like how he like the shit he was exposed to at a young age and how that informs him now and shit like that, and also like him like interacting with his sexuality and like exploring that and like kind of like having that. The
Does he talk about getting called out for the video stuff that he did and shit like that?
He brings it up, but not like in a. I tweeted about this.
I would really like to get
he doesn't
into that
bring it up.
real
He
quick.
doesn't bring it up in a like, oh, I got caught and then oh shit. I feel like a more like clumsier artist would be like, oh, I got caught and this is how it made me feel. He doesn't.
Nigga said
that.
I was gay.
He kind of just like outwardly like himself. Like it was like have bars about like he's into men as well as women. And like
it's beautiful,
like big thing.
Yeah, that shit happened, and now he's just like outwardly bisexual. Like he's just realized like the world isn't as evil about the thing as he expected. You know, like in the he's talked about in interviews and shit that I've just been so in love with him accepting
talking
this
about
part
his growth. Yeah,
it's been brilliant.
And like
it's been so like beautiful to me to watch this man who has by the way of the world around him forced himself to hide himself from the world for so long, realize that like I don't know how old he is, realize that he just doesn't need to do that. Like it's so beautiful. And him like in the art itself, he's just like mentioning it. Like he's just being like, he'll be like, I mean, I was fucking her and him, and it's like he doesn't be like, and I was and him, and then made a whole scheme off of saying that. It's
by the way, I did stuff.
People compared it to Tyler, and like not to invalidate how Tyler chooses to express that, but Tyler is more like, oh look at me, I'm gay too type thing.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
I like
men
men too
Tyler,
type
bro.
thing.
Definitely not Tyler.
It's like a part of the rollout or something.
He feels like the same artist. Regardless of that, which he is still the same artist.
Yeah,
like
it's so
has
beautiful
no bearing on him as an artist. And also, one thing I really liked is him exploring like how him kind of like being in the closet with that, how he like kind of used like a lot of misogyny to cover that up, and how like you can hear on this album like he does, there's not nearly as much of that stuff as before in his music. And I don't know, the growth feels so intentional. I really like it.
Tight.
Yeah, it's really brilliant. I love how he's approaching this album. Like, so I think this is like in terms of sonically as well. Like, it's really it's really like subdued in what it's trying to do. It's not like as bombastic as I was maybe expecting, and I think it really works in that context. You know, like I think there's obviously like that one song, the Dominic Fike, I think it is. That song's ass. The scissor joint, I don't think it's ass, but I don't think it works. I don't necessarily think it's like a really successful song on there. But I think there's such an intimacy and like lack of immediacy to what he's doing. Like it's a real methodical approach to dissecting and taking apart who he has been, who he wants to be, yada yada yada. It's a great album. I was really happy with it.
I love Demo and fucking Sunshine Raid and shit, right? And I don't know what the last project he released was.
House is Burning.
I didn't hear that one. For whatever reason, I didn't necessarily like avoid it, but the only thing I knew between that was that there was the whole controversy about him being outed, in a generally nasty way, and I was kind of happy to see that people were okay with it more than they were like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people were just like, okay, I mean, like, damn, that's fucked up to do that to him, but we not tripping on him for having that lifestyle and shit. More people were concerned about like the addiction issues and shit like that. And that's kind of where I was at too. But I just haven't got to this album for whatever reason. And I'm a big fan. Like I think I loved Sylvia Demo. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Sylvia Demo?
That might be like my favorite album ever.
It's like one of the best albums to fucking drop. Yeah. It's the equivalent of like Doomsday dropping.
What?
Like, independent album. Nobody really saw it coming. It has a tremendous cult following, and everything that people say about it is true when they talk about why it's good. It was like Doomsday, and then like Sunshine Raid was pretty good too. Like they had I really enjoyed it, and I'm a fan of it. And
what's that one song on there with the whistle and shit? That one's tough. Pussy and Dollar. I think I love that track.
There's also like a posse cut on there too, right?
Birthday.
Isn't there like a posse cut on there?
Birthday is the closest thing. Are you talking about Sylvia Demo or Sunshine Raid?
Sunshine Raid. The whistles.
Sunshine Raid doesn't really have like a posse cut. That track you're talking about is called B-Day.
But
I Oh, you go.
I don't like. Let me just finish this thought because I don't really have much to say about it. Like, I didn't expect TDE to be weird about him having a non conventional sexual fucking inclination, but I'm also kind of glad that it's just like they didn't do any work to make it seem like they were okay with it. You know, it's just like they didn't. There was nothing. Like, there was nothing. Was like y'all was call them gay and we don't care. They just kind of was just like.
Oh yeah.
They just went business as usual, and it just came out. And I like.
And it's like they have other
that.
queer artists on their label. You know, they have got Dogeared's bisexual. Like it's not like a crazy like outlier.
I'm
That's
sure
what
you know too, though, Ko. Like you do know too. Those like dudes, even misogynists are more okay with like women doing shit than dudes doing shit. And like TDE doesn't necessarily have the veneer of like being tough, but literally like Kendrick. You know, like Absol, and you know these niggas is like niggerish, like you know,
and the early albums.
They're all woke though.
You know,
they're woke.
That's true too.
Yeah,
but I'm just like again, I'm just like glad that it was like nothing about it seemed corny to me when I was hearing about that. I was like, good. Like I was kind of expecting to hear more. Something about it, you know, like a Vlad TV, like a Vlad TV video with like Boosie on it or some shit, being like, "That nigga's gay." I don't understand why Kendrick, you know, like that.
I think he did an interview with Joe Budden about it after it all happened, and I remember there was more backlash about him doing something with Joe Budden than him doing the gay shit.
Like I stopped listening to Joe Budden. As a PETA follower and a person that respects animals. PETA, as a PETA follower, a person who respects animals. As a pedophile, That's what he thought. As a PETA follower, a person who respects animals. Hearing like Joe Budden beating his women was not an issue for me, but hearing about him jacking off his dog was too much.
He jacked off his dog?
That was the thing that I heard. He said he was just doing content. I don't know. Like, I'm not
we're losing the plot.
As a pedophile, I was upset.
Yo, man, I was like,
don't say that.
What's happening?
I'm not scared of these niggas, bro. What are they gonna do? Make a fucking meme about me saying it? Like,
nigga, I was so confused.
That's how Trey feels every time you say nigga. He's like, wow, Hardy R. Wow, Hardy R. Wow, Hardy R. As a PETA follower.
Yeah.
As a pedophiler. FD pedophile.
I hate y'all niggas, man.
That's wild, nigga. That's wild, nigga. That's wild, nigga.
FD pedophile is crazy.
Okay, close the podcast, bro. Close the podcast,
bro. Real quick. I recommend you become a Spurs fan because we're gonna win. We're gonna win the finals. We gonna clean up Minnesota. We gonna clean up Minnesota.
Oh, okay,
we gonna project the Thunder. My glorious King Wemby. My beautiful rookie Dylan Harper. My fucking goat Stephon Castle, always on demon time. Carter Bryant, young rookie. That nigga got it. Fucking Champagne magnets. That's all I gotta say. Join the agenda.
I love Kanye.
What did I say? What did I say?
Nothing, man. We good.
He's a big
also.
No, you good.
Watching, there's scientific evidence that watching basketball might make you homosexual. So be careful.
Marty Supreme makes you homosexual?
No, basketball. Similar.
Basquiat will make you homosexual?
Yeah.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
This explains. You guys heard Pray for Haiti? You seen the cover? Explains a few things. Think about it. Connect them dots in your mind. Yeah. Anyway, someone put the music on.
What are you talking about? What music? There is no music.
The outro.
Oh my god.
There's no music. Okay, so I just say.
Do you not hear the music? Do you not hear?
I don't hear shit.
You don't hear the music?
I don't hear shit. So
do the outro.
Do you guys hear it? Okay. Well, we've in the minutes.
The three of us.
And your time is up.
Your time is up.
Get the fuck out of here.
We out of here.
Yeah, what's up?
I pick up that A mic immediately after you get cut off that first time.
The speed
I
of
go
it.
right up, and Trey was like, "What's going on? It's podcasting. He's
I'm not
podcasting,
built for this part, bro.
He's
Y'all gotta
podcasting."
carry me so I can't. I'm only good for interjecting, bro.
Yeah, it was the most lively I've ever been on an intro. Besides that one time I told y'all about seeing
Yeah, bro. Mega was doing the like and subscribe show. Like, oh shit.
I'm not privy to it, bro. I'm not privy to it.
No, it was good. It was really good. We had a
Bro,
good time.
I
I'm
can't
so
believe-
happy.
Wait, no, go on.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that after your, come on, Trey, you fucking it up.
What? The Cole turned the music on. Why did you turn it
Cole
on?
has no ability. Look how he
Wait,
lied on you,
I-
Cole.
wait,
You have no ability to do that shit. That's all
The
Trey,
music,
nigga.
no. The music came
lie.
on. My hands weren't even touching it. The music came. That was you, then, nigga.
Nah,
You
it's
trying
on
to frame me,
fucking
bro.
loop.
You trying to
I
frame me,
can't. I can't hear it right now. Like I don't even know. Can you guys hear it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hear the music right now. That's weird.
Nah,
Anyways,
the music's on.
that fucking nigga. That fucking. You saying you're a Peter follower? That's one of the funniest things that's ever happened in this whole podcast.
Oh my god.
Nigga,
That outro is so bad.
I'm really actually like I was thinking about some of the funniest moments, and I was really happy about the time that we got on Trey for his mom coming. I told you.
Oh my god.
I want the blue. That shit was kind of amazing, actually.
I hate y'all niggas.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
yeah.
I'm saying that one there. Trey saying, "What if he's Malcolm X?" If his name was Malcolm X. The Charlie Kirk one. I was waiting for the Return of the King. That was a classic. That was a classic.
Trey was really